What a finish! What a man!
The drum roll finishes, and the target is hit.
And it comes on finals night, and it's another
Brilliant! Dirty Harrison! Van Velzen!
Custom two tops. James leads 3 legs to 2 with Barry Copeland. What a dart that is. What a finish that is. For a hat-trick of wins. Scotty is very hotty tonight. Superb effort on the 1-2-1. What a finish. What a finish. He gets there in the end. He's mustard. He really is.
Howdy! Welcome along to the Modus Super Series from the Live Lounge here in Ports. I'll tell you what, I love that introduction there. It's the second session's worth of action here from the Live Lounge in Ports. So Group B is going to come to a close. Well, the country music introduction to Glenn Dowen here, who got a haircut yesterday and decided to get a Dolly Parton. Like it?
Next.
Right, let's talk about this afternoon then. And what an afternoon it was, in particular for Peter Wachiuri of Kenya, making history for himself and making history for his nation.
It's one of those moments at the Modus Super Series that he won't forget. You know, the public won't forget. I mean, even us here at the Modus Live Lounge as well. I mean, it was just brilliant to see the interview that you had, the emotion that he did. It was brilliant. It was an important game against Carl Coleman. Carl was the one player who could catch him at that point, and it was a 4-0 demolition job. And look, and the reactions from back home, his interview, a bit of everything. It was a fantastic afternoon.
Well, it really was quite the reaction back home in Kenya. This is back in Nairobi. This is the darts club there, and it's fair to say they went wild when the winning double went in.
Come on!
It's just great to watch. We've seen this about 5 or 6 times now, and it doesn't get old, does it?
Yeah, I've watched it a few times. It's on the social medias, and it's great. He's probably back at the hotel now. He's probably had a little bit of food, and he's probably just soaking in everything that's happened and watching videos like that. Just imagine if we're sat here tomorrow night and he goes on to win the thing. But whatever happens, you know, we won't forget Peter Wachiuri. He's been brilliant for everything he represents this week.
I think we've got a brand new hero here in the Live Lounge report. So let's have a look at the tournament bracket then. Colin Osborne won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. Peter Wachiuri and Kevin Burnett into the finals. And then in Group B, Scott Campbell, Leonard Gates, Gemma Hayter, Jamie Lewis, Barry Copeland. That's actually in table order, that middle graphic there. And this is how the table looks overnight. Scott Campbell and Leonard Gates both with 3 wins from 4. Gemma Hayter won her first 2, lost her last 2. Jamie Lewis will reverse of that equation. Barry Copeland without a win to his day yesterday. Scott Campbell, top of the group, and if the truth be told, he was probably the most consistent player in the group.
Yeah, he demonstrated all the qualities you need to win a week here at the Modus Super Series, and he came out the traps very, very nicely. He was part of the opening game, and he raced into a 3-0 lead against Barry Copeland. He was superb against Jamie Lewis. Jamie sat there on a double, and Scott Campbell demonstrated his big scoring throughout, but also had the quality of checking out in situations like that. He looked really comfortable, settled, and the information that, you know, from players like John Henderson, who was saying, you know, look out for this guy, they were spot on.
Gemma Hayter won her first 2. Will she feel like opportunity missed, particularly that game against Jamie Lewis?
Well, if we sort of take the both of them as well, Jamie Lewis is in the same situation, but to win those opening 2 games, I think what will really hurt Gemma is that in game 3, she was 3-0 up against Jamie Lewis and then lost that game 4-3. So 2 players that went away with 4 points, but contrasting feelings when they left.
Let's have a look at the odds then. This is what the bookies think. Now, Leonard Gates goes off the 10-11 favourite over Scott Campbell. What's your thoughts on that, and what was your assessment of him yesterday?
He's just different, Leonard Gates, isn't he? You know, from the his practice routines. I mean, I walked in the venue with him today. He's got the biggest headphones on. He doesn't really engage with the players. He does his own thing. He's magic when he wants to be. And I think even the bookies struggled to sort of come up with a price for him. They went for him to be favourite for the group yesterday, and they've continued there overnight at 10-11. But it's a case of who knows with Leonard Gates. I think we know what we're going to get from Scott Campbell. Well, Leonard Gates, he could win all four, he could lose all four. You just don't know.
It is 18 plus. It is gambleware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series. The race to Saturday night intensifies. The final 3 places will be booked through to Saturday evening here at the Live Lounge. Peter Wachiuri is already there. Are you going to be there? Come on, you know you want to. Game 1 of the evening session sees Barry Copeland and Jamie Lewis go head-to-head. Jamie had a really strong end to yesterday, winning 2 of the last 3 matches of the session, including this game by 4 legs to nil at around about 1:30 yesterday evening. And he's going to kick off the night's action here against Barry, who's still searching for his first win in this group. He finished 3rd in Group A on Wednesday afternoon, but the 52-year-old from Craigavon in Northern Ireland hasn't had any luck whatsoever in Group B. The daddy is hoping to turn his fortunes around to make it through to a 2nd consecutive weekly final. On debut here, Jamie Lewis, 33 years of age, from Carmarthen in Wales. His CV befits him, former World Championship semi-finalist. We know what he's capable of, but this is all about rebuilding. It's all about those initial starting blocks. And for him, it's to see whether the fire is still in the belly of Fireball and whether there is still more to come. This will dip into the ocean, a real toe touch for him to see whether this is something that he does want to further pursue as time goes on. George Baker, once again, in charge of the action. And he's going to call for Barry Copeland to the hockey to throw the first dart of the night. And for Barry Copeland, well, it's a case of just win as many games as possible and just see where it takes you.
Well, if he wants any inspiration, he could look at Martin Thomas, who had a very similar Group C campaign.
140.
Had a disastrous first day, and you could argue that he was the player of the day today. Well, for Barry, I think he'll come in here with a little bit of nerves yesterday, but I don't think deep down he thinks he can qualify. So maybe the shackles are off and he might highlight and showcase what he's all about.
Well, his stats for yesterday ran at an 82.5 average, but was 4 out of 27 on the doubles, 14%.
53.
He lost a lot of opportunities on a double. He lost all his matches. And they weren't the only things that he lost yesterday either, because Barry Copeland went to get some food following the end of this session before getting a taxi back to his
39.
accommodation. And as he got back to his hotel, he realised he also lost his takeaway too. Well, what's it they say? When it rains, it pours.
138.
But he's off to a stronger start here against Jamie Lewis, who hasn't got out the traps at all.
59. Barry,
Yeah,
you
roles
require
reversal start from
170.
yesterday. It was a very comfortable win in the final game. That's the beauty of these final matches yesterday. Become the first match today. You see, you can't write off Barry Copeland. I know
100.
you're not often that wrong, Henry, but he was your fancy for this Group B, or certainly the value for money. So he does play that potential role of a spoiler today.
45.
But the
Barry, you
only
require
real chance of
70.
qualification for him is if he goes through the card today.
He's not a bad spoiler to have in a group, is he, Barry Copeland? Double top to take the opening leg, and he's got plenty of time, and he is
50.
going to come back for double 10.
Yeah, I guess the biggest fan for Barry Copeland will be Gemma Hayter. Gemma in that real tight battle with Jamie Lewis for that third qualifying position.
100. Barry acquired 20. Game shot in the first leg. Barry Copeland.
Superstar for Barry, and once again continues to snatch those darts out the dartboard.
Second
saw that
leg,
yesterday.
Jamie to throw first. Game on.
We did have an excellent chat with Jamie Lewis, just about his life story. We often talk about the highs and lows of a dart player. A World Cup singles winner as a boy.
60.
That incredible high in 2018 when he was just looking sensational to beat the likes of Johnny Clayton in that unbelievable game with Peter Wright. And he was the last player to play Phil Taylor at the World
140.
Championships, and the last player for Phil Taylor to actually win a game, a semi-final, which Taylor went on to lose to Rob Cross. Then had his collie wobbles. The game suddenly became very difficult for him.
59.
Sort of come back into the sport on the WDF system. And now he said he's just enjoying the darts, Henry. He's back playing local stuff and producing some good darts, and that was confirmed yesterday.
Well, you can actually say this is probably a group where a lot of the players have had their trials and
100.
tribulations with the sport. Jamie, Gemma, both taking breaks from the game. Barry Copeland's been a very handy tour player for years, but only really finding his best stuff as he heads into his 50s. Leonard Gates, another player that
60.
played other sports before, taking up darts and now finding his best as he moves later on in his career. And Scott Campbell just is Scott Campbell.
125.
Yeah, we had a bit of fun with Scott Campbell yesterday. I thought I made the biggest faux pas as a commentator. But he did confirm to me tonight that he has become a granddad.
95. Barry acquired 136.
For a very quick fire 2-0 lead. This would be for a breaker throw. He'll go down to the 19 surely after that first dart. A treble 19 and a single 19 would have left him tops, but he persevered there, and that's the reason why. That's a
100.
sublime last dart.
He's himself on double 18, and Jamie Lewis, remember, won this game 4-0 yesterday. If he's not careful the way he's playing in comparison to the way Barry Copeland's playing, could have this scoreline
55.
against him at this
Barry
present
acquired
moment in time.
36.
Double 18 for a 2-0 lead, averaging 103.5. And Barry's one of those players that can play with freedom. When you consider the ability he's
Game
got,
shot in the second
that
leg.
could be a
Barry
dangerous
Copeland.
proposition for the rest of the field. He is not a player that you want as a spoiler, but he's 2-0 up here
Third
on Jamie
leg is
Lewis, and
Barry
he
to
could
throw
deal the first blow of the night
Game on.
for the former World Championship semi-finalist.
Yeah, we get to a stage with Group A where we seem to be calling every game the biggest game in the group. But I'm just
135.
looking down for Barry Copeland, but it's not until game 4 that he returns. I was just wondering if he got straight back on in game 3. He could be sat on 4 points in a blink of an eye.
100.
Scott Campbell, very, very impressive start. Yes, he's up next. He plays Leonard Gator. Should be a bit of a blockbuster.
81.
Important game that, because the winner of that tie will then feel like they've got the room to really manoeuvre and really stretch away from the rest of the group, where the loser of that match may feel like, depending on what happens in the
125.
first couple of games, they could be embroiled. And remember, Jamie Lewis played Gemma Hayter in game 3, so actually a lot of the big battles this evening, some of the big battle lines will be drawn quite early on in proceedings, and probably by the end of game 3 we'll have a
47.
fair reflection as to where the state of play is going to be in this group.
Yeah, I suppose when Jamie entered the building tonight, a win in the first game and a win in the third game, he'll have gone into this match with Barry
41.
Copeland on 0 points thinking, especially after the 4-0 victory last night, that it's a game he'll win. And then that massive game with Gemma Hayter, things could be so different for Jamie Lewis. One of the good things about getting on first and third, but
140.
what he probably didn't have in his plan is how well Barry Copeland is going to play. Barry Copeland is still averaging over a ton.
Well, these are levels we know Barry Copeland is capable of, but he just
45,
hasn't
Barry
shown them
Quire,
this week.
98.
We did see Jamie Lewis get off to a slow start yesterday, and it looks like that trend's going to continue here. Lost his opening match by 4-1 to Scott Campbell. And if you're not careful here, he could be off to a very heavy defeat to kickstart proceedings. 2 things
38.
are happening. Barry Copeland's playing to a very high level, and Jamie Lewis just hasn't quite got out the gate as of yet. Copeland will come back, looking at 60 for a 3-0 lead.
Barry Quire, 60.
50% on the doubles at the moment. So with 2 darts in his hand, you'd expect him to check this out.
Game start the third
No
leg.
problem
Barry
whatsoever.
Copeland.
We had something very similar, Henry, in Group C with Martin Thomas. Are we going to see something similar with Barry Copeland? And can he go through the card and qualify?
Jamie to throw first.
Well,
Game on.
this is what we were saying this afternoon. The difference between Group C and Group B is the fact that if Barry can win all 4, there is a realistic chance that he can make it through. Where Martin Thomas, even by completing the card, we saw
60.
the way the points tally finished up in Group C, he would not have physically have been able to have got through. So you do get a bit more room for manoeuvre in the evening session. But the problem is Barry is going to have to be perfect because you've got 2 players on 4 points. If it was a
140.
uniform table and it was 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, you'd say there's a very realistic chance that maybe 6 points would take you through. But it does feel like a night where 8 is going to be the margin which will
101.
send you into the Saturday showdown.
Yeah, we don't often see a bad Group B. Players coming down from Group A in 2nd and 3rd position.
83.
And the introduction of players into Group B. At a time that the more used to playing at 10 o'clock, certainly as we get into 1:30 in the morning, maybe not.
42.
And I do think it's a horses for courses thing. Now, if you really fancy yourself, Group C might not be a bad group. If you fancy yourself to be in the top 2 because you finish at 6 o'clock and you've got 24
75.
hours to prepare. And I do think players are looking at this now from a bit more of a tactical sense in terms of what will give me the best advantage when it comes to Saturday evening. And there are some
100.
players, yes, okay, there's financial incentive playing in Group B, but they don't mind if Group C is what they have to play in. But Barry Copeland here, 6 starts from 203 to win the match. He's done well to
100.
squeeze that last one in.
Yeah, he's playing really nice. The confidence looks like it's oozing out of him. Like I said, I don't think he come out tonight with any nerves whatsoever. He's probably felt the damage was done.
83. Barry Quire, 103.
So still big things to as we look ahead for tonight, but Barry can only beat what's in front of him. He's going to get a match start. It's been a terrific match.
83. Jamie Quire, 150.
Well, Jamie Lewis hasn't had a dart at a double in this match. And the only choice he may get of one is if he can take out the 115. He's found the treble 19. Can he find the requisite double? Yes, he
Game,
can.
fourth leg,
He's been
Jamie
under the
Lewis.
cosh for the best part of 4 legs. He hadn't had a look in, but when he gets one poke at the double
Fifth leg,
19 of the back
Barry
of the
to throw
115,
first. Game
he
on.
takes it with a plump.
I mean, there's absolutely a massive amount of difference between him and the averages, but that's the beauty of a best of 7. But that's a response. That's a response and a half. Fair play to Barry Copeland.
He's got heart. And that's one quality, is grit and
55.
determination that you cannot question at all.
Such a simple throw. He just literally holds that dart and that flight just where the eye line is. There's no backswing, no nothing. It's just simple, but so effective.
80.
He's very vocal, Barry Copeland. Maybe you're not going to get that as much in a situation he's in with no crowd, etc. But I have played him many times, and yeah, he likes to have a little bit of a shout, and that's exactly what he's doing with each throw at the moment.
40.
But in fairness to Barry, he does it as he's coming back from the hockey. He doesn't do it he does it in the right way. If you're going to let it out, there's a way of doing it and a way of not doing it, and Barry toes the line correctly in that aspect.
100.
Well, he was looking good for a 4-0 victory. We have to say, looking very, very good for a 4-1 victory. Jamie Lewis still back in the 400s.
60. Barry,
That's
you require
simply not enough.
141.
Well, he's not going to take the 1-4-1, but he's got such a seismic lead in this leg that it's nigh on irrelevance. And in fact, Jamie Lewis getting the maximum here and still
59.
won't leave himself on a finish.
Yep, not the start that Jamie Lewis wanted, that's for sure.
60. Barry, you require
But the better
82.
player. There's moments of where you feel away from victory.
Barry Copeland looking at 82. The 11 leaves 71, so treble 13 would have left double 16. That's glanced into the single 6. But again, it didn't really matter
32,
that he's made a bit of a mess of it because he's still not been punished by Jamie.
Well, he's not, but his last 6 starts for Barry Copeland are 59 and 32, so he's stuttering his way to the line. As you
97.
rightly
Barry, you
alluded
require
to,
50.
Jamie Lewis, nothing coming back, so 6 starts away, so time on the side for Barry Copeland. Big number. Big performance.
shot.
Barry
And
Copeland
the
wins the
Barry
opener for his
Copeland.
first 2 points. And already looks a different player than he was last night. That's what it means to him. And Jamie Lewis was in that battle for that qualifying place. And maybe the big winner after that game was Gemma Hayter. But Barry Copeland is up and running, round about the 95 average throughout. Ended up 94.37. Excellent on the doubles. Jamie Lewis just 1 dart a double, and he did ping that. But a fine start to what we hope is going to be an excellent night. Potential blockbuster next. It's first against second. It's Campbell against Leonard Gates.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000.
The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim Wachiuri.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Luke Lidlow! Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Barry Copeland got the better of Jamie Lewis by 4 legs to 1. Next up for us, Scott Campbell and Leonard Gates go head-to-head. These two, the top two overnight, both with 6 points to their name. And victory for whoever gets the 2 points will put them on to 8 and will put themselves in full control of proceedings. Now, because Barry Copeland won his match against Jamie Lewis, it means that 10 points will be enough for somebody to progress their way through to the finals on Saturday evening. Scott Campbell, the 35-year-old from Aberdeen in Scotland, a semi-finalist during his debut appearance here at the Super Series. He is going to take on Leonard Gates, who has become a regular here at the Live Lounge. 54-year-old from Houston in Texas, twice a weekly runner-up is the soldier. He is looking to finally cross that finishing line and win his first week of the Super Series. It's one of the few things that isn't on his darting bucket list that he hasn't picked up in recent times. But Scott Campbell yesterday, Glenn, was probably the most consistent performer of the 5 players.
First leg,
Yeah, I was really looking forward to
Scott
seeing him
going
play.
first. Game on.
And it was actually from the first dart of the night. I mean, he ran into a 3-0 lead early doors against Barry Copeland and just really didn't sort of look back. Yes, he had a little slip of the night against Leonard Gates, but a job well done. 6 points. He knows what he needs to do tonight. He looked very
57.
very cool, very calm. I don't anticipate too many problems. Probably not the ideal game against the top 2, but the winner of this game is almost certain for qualification then. So
140.
that's the way they can treat this game.
There's an element of free hit with an element of jeopardy.
140.
It's been a busy, busy day of darts. Whilst we do have the opportunity, Claire, I just want to get your thoughts on Bo Greaves and her incredible performance against Luke Humphries earlier.
140.
I mean, there was a moment there we thought she was not only just putting up a fantastic show, I genuinely thought she was going to go on and win it. Did she go 7-5? And Luke seemed to be beating himself up a little bit. But just listening to
81.
Luke in the interview, we had a little bit of a joke earlier and said, in 20 years' time, which player is going to be a top commentator? And just Luke speaks so well, and you know the first thing he did was
100.
just celebrate the successes of Bo Greaves. He believes in her, and I'm just wondering if that was a real turning point for her, in a sense that she must have loved that crowd. There's a time that she now believes in herself that the game would be better if she's in that
85.
mix and in those major
Energy
tournaments
for
week in, week out.
121.
Just thinking about the upgrades Luke Humphries would be in the commentary box. But Gates here looking at 1-2-1 to take the opening leg, not to be, so Campbell will return looking for the 138.
57. Scott, you require 138.
$138 for Campbell. Ooh, goes to 17s. Couldn't find the second, and so Gates will come back for 64.
$122. Leonard, you require 64.
Splendid setup. Going to be the one dart for Leonard Gates. We talked last night, and normally in these circumstances, he's just so good at
first
that.
leg, Leonard Gates.
On the negative side, we were talking about the fact that when he needs a finish, he can stop, start,
Second
doesn't
leg
know
is
which
Leonard
route
to
to go,
reverse.
doesn't what he
Game on.
need. But let me tell you, when he's got a dart in hand and a double required, he is one of the very, very best.
It's that element of the game which makes Leonard Gates one of the
100.
strongest oppositions, one of the strongest and hardest propositions on the amateur side of the sport. Now, I do have some news for you, Glenn, from the UK Open, because a man who's had plenty of success here at the Super Series last year, Connor Scott,
41.
has beaten Gerwin Price by 10 legs to 9. So Connor Scott is into the next round, the 5th round of the UK Open.
43.
Good for Connor. We like Connor around these parts.
$100. $60.
It was such an enjoyable opening game with Barry Copeland. I was expecting fireworks in this one, but you just sense a little bit of tension, that the realisation what the winner of this game is
60.
going to put themselves in a terrific position. Just jostling for that at the moment, almost like the shadow boxing.
59.
They're jabbing without landing any sizable punches so far in this match. Well, that's a perfect first start for Scott.
100.
Perfect visit from Scott. And he may well wrestle the break back off a Leonard here.
What if they were jabbing? That's a heck of a haymaker there.
Scott, you require 120.
To get back into this match. And a break a throw. Scott will be on the 20s. Needs the treble. Almost like a growl at it. That's not where it's meant to go. It looks a good marker to me.
$60. Leonard, you
He was
require
unable to squeeze one in, and he'll be disappointed with that. And so Gates will come back 139 to save his throw. He's not going to take it, and so Campbell is going to get a couple of darts to square up at 1-1.
87. Scott, you require 60.
And these chances are need to go. Leonard also on a 2-darter. Just has to move a touch. You'd expect the right-hand side of that tops is where he's aiming. Decides not to move back to the centre of the hockey.
Game shot on the second leg. Scott Campbell.
That's what it means to him. Right back in this game. 1-1. 2 breaks of throws.
Why does it feel like one of those nights where we might get a lot of tight matches? And why does it feel like one of those nights where we may have a late finish? You know, you just get a feeling, Glenn, that certain things may go in certain ways. I've got the feeling we could be having one of those late night shows here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
81.
You've just said that.
Put it this way. I think we're going to be here to the early hours.
121.
Who cares, Henry? Who cares? Just bring on the great darts.
I think there's going to be a lot of tight matches, a lot of 4-2s, a
96.
lot of 4-3s. We didn't see many of them yesterday, but I think we're going to see a lot more matches tonight. They run a lot closer than what we did on Thursday evening.
60.
Barry Copeland's playing better. I think Jamie Lewis will be more competitive as the night goes along. And I don't think there's much to separate Hayter, Gates and Campbell. I think this is the type of sparring session that we're going to see throughout the duration of the session.
43. $125.
Yeah, fascinating character, Leonard Gates, as we mentioned. You would expect him to be that extrovert when he's in the practice area, but just does his thing. He just has his music. He goes through his practice routines.
100.
We've seen the dancing. We've seen the celebrations from him. But actually, he has that unique style when he's throwing. And his preparation is probably different to the rest. We saw the friendships that have been built, the hugging this afternoon, the high fives. With Leonard, he's an individual and it's about him.
Gates looking at 140 now. So far, both the legs in this match have been won with breaks of throat. And Gates is hoping the trend continues. But Campbell, with the 25 there, leaves himself on 76. So there's a sense of must hit here.
Yeah, I genuinely like that from Scott Campbell. I think he thought about going down to the 19s. We said it's a must hit. What a finish. That's what Leonard Gates is all about.
Fourth leg is Leonard to throw first.
That's the second Sunpass checkout of the evening. The 140 of Leonard Gates joins the Jamie Lewis 115 for the opening match.
60.
Yeah, nice little touch there from Scott Campbell. It's a big game. He's on a good finish. Just has a great conduct, just to say great darts, Leonard.
$100.
Leonard Gates will be here for Double Trouble 3 next week. And what a week of plays. I wish I was here for that one, 55. That's for sure.
It's all right, we've got the big guns in next week, Clem. Steve Beaton, Neil Duff, Simon Whitlock, and Matthew Egg was the only commentator available.
100. $81.
There's a lot of testosterone out there tonight. We've heard Barry Copeland roaring his way to victory there. And Leonard Gates, as it went into one, I could hear it from here.
57.
Who's the loudest that we've had on that stage?
Oh, it's Johan Brouwer. It's not even a discussion. Johan Brouwer, who very much growled every single time he hit a big score.
180.
But Leonard Gates getting his teeth stuck into this contest. It's been a break Campbell so far, but he's looking to get the Gates first holder thrown. If he does so, he finds himself in a fortuitous position because he would be 3-1 to the good, needing just one more to complete a victory, which would put him onto 8 points in the group. And remember, the only player that has beaten Scott
60.
Campbell in this group is Leonard Gates.
Well, a soft tip start may even stay there. Treble 17 should be the shot. Treble 17 is the shot with double 12.
130.
We've seen a 64 finish, a 140 finish. And I fully expected that 125 to go on with the double 12.
$128.
Gates looking at double 6 to open up a 3-1 advantage in this match. Campbell lurking if this doesn't go. He's got a great guide there. Can he just nestle it next to it? Indeed he can, right in the middle of the bed. It's the first holder throw in the contest, and it gives Leonard Gates a 3-1 lead over Scott Campbell.
It's Scott to throw first. Game on. $100.
Well, we were talking an awful lot about the first 6 or 7 games yesterday, that every single game was 4-1. We're even checking the record books to see if we've ever had, or the most amount of 4-1s in a certain one. We've had a 4-1 opener. And if Leonard Gates can break the throw of Scott Campbell here, that pattern is starting again, Henry.
I, for one, envisage a few more closer matches, though.
131. $95.
He does not want to leave that 20 bed. And now it's so awkward.
100.
What a dart that is.
140. Scott, you require 170.
We all know what Leonard's done there. Let's skirt over it. 170 to save the match. He's got 6 from here to do so.
$94.
Yeah, we talked about the count on Leonard Gates. How many times does he leave the 166? And that's what gets me angry, because he could have been looking at a bullseye, could have been looking at a
130.
167. But what you're doing effectively is just giving an opportunity to Scott Campbell. And the way he played yesterday, doesn't often need a second chance. Beautiful darts. And that goes back to the finish of Leonard Gates. He hits 2 treble 20s. We're looking down at the 19s, even the 16s.
Leonard to throw first.
Perseveres on the 20s. And one of the reasons Scott Campbell takes that leg.
For now, Leonard Gates has the darts to see the game through.
140.
To move himself on to 8 points and to put himself in such a good position to make it through to the finals on Saturday evening. This is a big game in terms of who's going to take command of the group. The next one's just as seismic as Jamie Lewis and
60.
Gemma Hayter go toe-to-toe, both on 4 points. Remember, Jamie has used up his game in hand. Jamie wins that game, and then Gemma beats Scott Campbell.
140.
At the midway point of the night, you could have Leonard Gates through on 10 against Barry Copeland. Or you could have Gates on 8, Campbell on 6, Hayter on 6, Lewis on 6, and Copeland on 4. And then we'd still be none the wiser.
180.
Two quality players.
140.
Very dynamic. At times can be electrifying, and you just feel they're going through that phase right now where they're seeing that treble 20. It's a lovely 180 from Scott Campbell. It's looking like it's not enough, because Leonard Gates
57.
played beautiful in this match.
And you require 81.
2 darts away from victory.
Double 12 to finish off with a potential
Games
11
are
dart
on the
leg.
mark,
That's how
Leonard
you
Gates.
finish. And ironically, that's how you start tonight. Leonard Gates gets the better of Scott Campbell by 4 legs to 2. He moves on to 8 points in the group, and now moves within 1 win of qualifying through to Saturday night's final. This is how he did it. A blockbuster performance, a sparkling display. 99.48 the average, 4 out of 6 on the finishing. It was a blockbuster contest between the top 2, but it is Leonard who will be hoping that he's opened the floodgates for the night. A 4-2 win against the Scot called Scott. And on the other side of this short break, on Pluto TV, we're going to be watching a battle between the players in 3rd and 4th in the group on a Gemma Hayter and Jamie Lewis to move on to 6 points, and that's coming up next.
$54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score, leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts, but he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
hockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember. I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
180.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust. And
39.
on that situation there, George
require
Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's giving George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go!
Couldn't get the job
Yes!
done.
Got in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. It's Group B time here, live on Pluto TV, and what a performance from Leonard Gates. It was top against second. Scott Campbell threw absolutely everything at Leonard Gates and won with a 99.48 average. But the big games keep on coming overnight. In joint third place, and that final qualifying place was Jamie Lewis and Gemma Hayter, and this was a game that really stood out. Well, Jamie Lewis had the opportunity to stamp his authority on qualification, the opening game of the night. I'll be really honest with you, he really did flatter to deceive. He was beaten pretty convincingly by Barry Copeland, so it's advantage Gemma Hayter going into this game. I think it's very much an even Steven game, but just the fact that Jamie had that poor opening game, do we make Gemma favourite?
Probably, and it's probably not as well just because of the opening game. If you look at the
First
form
leg
guide,
is
you look at
Jamie to
everything,
throw first.
it does point in
Game
Gemma's
on.
direction. Gemma did lead this game 3-0. It was a match that she let slip. It was the opening that Jamie Lewis needed to his session last night. But we did see yesterday that Jamie did need a little bit of time to warm up to the task. Admittedly, he didn't play as poor in the opening game yesterday as he did to the start of tonight's session, but
100.
possibly playing 2 of the first 3 might work in his favour. The fact that he's constantly on-off could work in his favour, or it could work the opposite. I think the truth is with Jamie, because there's so many unknowns, it's difficult
61.
to properly assess where things are.
Yes, we had a good chat with
44.
Gemma Hayter earlier. Just a life story. Again, another very similar actually to the Jamie Lewis, where the background comes from that parents, grandparents owning a pub. So always being around that
98.
dartboard. A fantastic player in the youth. Went to the World Masters all the way back to 2019. But she's had periods in her life where
60.
she'd fallen out with the game. But right now, she's up there. She's prolific winner now. She's very competitive. Had a wonderful final against Bo Greaves last week in the women's series. If she can just stay injury free, because she's had a couple of issues with that
59.
shoulder as well, it could be a really good year for Gemma Hayter.
But it's Jamie Lewis who's got the better of the running in this
121.
opening leg.
Jamie got 160.
And even with that 2 treble turn for Gemma, the opening slip into the single one affords Jamie 6 darts on this 160 to take out the opening leg.
58.
Didn't quite make the inroads he would have wanted. Still on a 3 darter. Hayter would love a treble with the last dart. Finds a treble with the
82.
last to
Jamie
leave
Clark,
herself on a 2
102.
darter.
Only had 1 darter, a double in his opening game, and pinged that. 115 finish. What did he give for that 102? Gemma Hayter in the background.
70. Jamie
How aggressive.
94.
Here's the option of starting bullseye, but it looks like she's going very direct. 76 points left, double 8. Big dart already early in this game.
Game shot on the first
She's quality.
leg, Gemma Hayter.
Hayter gets the break and leads 1-0.
Second leg, it's Gemma to throw first. Game on.
Hayter with the break in the leg that Jamie Lewis will feel like he should have won, that he should have had in his
41.
leisure. And he can't afford those moments to go by. He's in this mode and this moment now where everything has to click
59.
into place, that everything has to go.
$81. $43.
Yeah, things just go on the way of Gemma early in this game. Jamie Lewis will have planned his night, and it's not exactly where he wants to go. And Gemma finding a range.
177.
Finding a range with real aplomb.
Well, Jamie Lewis should have won the opening leg. Didn't even get a dart of the double. And
60.
Gemma Hayter here is taking full advantage of the missed opportunity for Jamie Lewis. Got the break and now really looking to establish
100.
her advantage in the match. She leaves herself on 102 after 12 to open up a 2-zip lead.
Local player is Gemma. If she did qualify, she often brings her entourage with her, but
Gemma requires 102.
no plan, she said. A partner would be here if she qualifies. But that's about it. What a dart that is for tops.
Game shot on the second leg.
I'm beginning to
Gemma
rule out
Hayter.
the superlatives for Gemma Hayter at the moment. That steely determination.
The leg
And when she
is
needs a
Jamie to
double,
throw
no
first.
reaction as
Game
well,
on.
Henry. It's just taken in a stride and the wonderful attributes to have.
She's a cool customer, isn't she? And she's not someone that gets phased or bogged down or overwhelmed by the media
140.
presence or other such things. She's just one of those people that just gets on and just carries out her task tremendously. Doesn't faff
59.
about with any other thing. She just does what she needs to do, and she does it to a really efficient, effective, and high level.
$47.
Couple of trebles needed here for Gemma. Just
97.
keeps her involved. But it's definitely Jamie Lewis advantage too in this vital third leg. It's on throw for him.
85.
Take your pick. Gemma will feel like a couple of trebles here. She's very much still in the equation in this leg. Picks off those couple of
140.
trebles, forcing the issue of Jamie Lewis, whose set-up turn here has to be good.
Should switch.
59.
Does switch. Leaves a finish, but Gemma Hayter can't hammer a real big score in here.
45.
Not to be. Come
Jamie
on, as she mutters to
170.
herself.
The big fish. Is it on offer? There's the first. But a diversion off dart one, knocked the second off course.
122.
And so Hayter
Jamie
looking at
160.
160 to get the double break. Not to be. So Lewis to get himself on the board. Remember, hasn't had a dart at a double yet in this match.
60.
Just
Jamie
the one
requires
dart at a double
48.
all night, and Jamie did hit that double for a 115 finish. So double 16 to get him up and running in this game. Gemma Hayter back on a 2-dart herself. That
Game
just
shot in the
squeezes
third
in.
leg, Jamie Lewis.
Is that the start for Jamie Lewis? Just a reminder, when they played each other yesterday, Gemma Hayter was leading that match 3-0 at
Fourth
one
leg,
point.
It's Gemma to throw first. Game on.
Big moment in this game. Key leg, the middle leg of this match.
41.
Lewis knows that this is must win for him.
140.
If he loses this, then he's running out of time and he's running out of wriggle room. As for Gemma, victory here would put her on to 6 points. Jamie would have played a game more, and his legs difference as well is not cooperating with him. -5 in comparison to the +4 of Hayter.
Yeah, the tide seems to be turning.
60.
Gemma Hayter, we talked about her being good under pressure. Say no reactions, the positive.
26. $58. $45. $96.
Gemma needs to start. It needs to start now. That's the right route to go on 306. Should go back up to treble 20. Gets treble 20.
Jamie required 147.
She needed that, but Jamie Lewis is looking good to get back in this match. 147, treble 20. Treble 17. Just a little self-doubt there before he was going for it. Is that the major difference there? We've been waiting for the big fish all week. Gemma Hayter will be back, and that's a disappointing return to Jamie after a beautiful first start.
She begins, if she reels us in, she could have began to reel off Jamie Lewis. But you've got to give Jamie credit here. He's still going with the punches, not
81.
playing
Jamie
to maybe the level we saw from him at times last night. But he's seemingly hanging on to the coattails here of Gemma Hayter. And he's going to get a couple of darts in his hand here. A double 11 to level up at 2-2. That was a clinical kill. Cleanly taken from Jamie Lewis, and we are back level.
Fifth leg, it's Jamie.
Finishing's been good.
First. Game on. $81.
Such a crucial game.
60. $99.
Now, we saw that brilliant performance from Leonard Gates and Scott Campbell in the previous match, 99 and 92 respectively. Barry Copeland kicked off with a great performance against Jamie Lewis.
85.
Fair to say these two haven't really quite got going in this encounter.
Yeah, you just get the sense they know the importance of it. Even during the day, this is probably the one match they're really focused on.
96.
For Gemma Hayter, the start of the night was perfect before she even threw a dart with Jamie losing that opening game. But if Jamie can just get this one under his belt,
44.
he could be going right down to the wire for the 3 qualifiers.
$58.
What does Jamie Lewis, Peter Wright and Luke Little all have in common, Glenn?
They all play darts.
100. Jamie,
they all have war contracts by Pitbull. Jamie Lewis walks on to Fireball by Pitbull. Luke Little walks on to Green Light by
97.
Pitbull. And Peter Wright walks on to Don't Stop the Party by Pitbull. Pitbull, of course, being a famous music artist.
108.
Well, that
Jamie
hit all the right notes from Gemma Hayter there. Lewis 70 for 3-2.
Massive moments in this match. Big dart that is from Jamie Lewis. Double 8 for a crucial lead. That is quality. His finishing
Jamie
tonight
Lewis
has been superb.
3 from 4. In fact, if you put the night all together, 4 from 5 on the finishing. And it's been that component which has been the key difference for Jamie Lewis in this game. And it gives him a gilt-edged chance now to win this game against Gemma Hayter move on to 6 points, and put himself in such a good position. And you get the sense with Jamie, he has to get the points on the board because his legs difference isn't quite up to scratch in comparison to Gemma. If this game ends 4-2, say, for example, Jamie will still be on a negative legs difference and Gemma will be on a positive legs difference, which means at some point Jamie's going to have to win one big.
$57.
I think if Gemma does lose this game, she was in a controlling position
100.
with Jamie last night, 2-0 up in this one. That could be a tough one to take. She's got some really difficult games to come up. Scott Campbell's her next match, so it gets no easier. She's put herself in a decent position on throw here.
$99.
Well, she leaves the finish. Can Lewis respond? But whatever happens, if it goes the distance, Jamie Lewis is still favourite for this match because he has the darts, the crucial darts in that last leg.
95. Gemma, you've got 160.
160 for Gemma. Well, she's got a lovely guide to set things up. Surely that hits the treble.
60.
I am
Jamie, you require
stunned she hasn't found a
156.
treble there. Lewis, 156 to win the match. Here's to be some way to win it. He's already had the 115. He's not going to have the 156 to the ton plus catalogue. And so Hayter to take us all the way.
60.
Looking at the ton on the nose.
100.
Wild. Quality, double 19.
Game
What a
shot, the
finish.
sixth leg,
What a
Gemma
player.
Hayter.
Pierced that in the same puncher mark that Jamie Lewis hit the double
So in the
19
final
with.
leg, it's Jamie to throw first.
I did feel like
Game
this
on.
was the game we highlighted. It's going down to a last leg decider, but crucially, Lewis has the darts. Can he use them?
60.
Trebleless. So Gemma here, you just see her close her eyes before the darts was thrown. All you want when you're against a dart is an opportunity.
60.
Doesn't take it.
You get the sense that Jamie Lewis's week could be dictated to by this particular leg. His whole Super Series journey could be reliant on what happens right here,
57.
right now.
100.
Special darts. That's what the great players can do. We talked about your B game, your C game. Sometimes you've got to win a little bit ugly. We have this fascination with
28.
stats and everything, but in the end, it's match play. And that 180 could be the deciding factor. Ton ahead plus these. One treble.
57.
Gemma Hayter has been able to hold it better together than Jamie Lewis. It's as simple as that. The 180, the key focal point, the key turning point. That's the first big treble that Jamie has found in this last
96.
leg. And he'll be bitterly disappointed because he's done all the right things to get himself back into the contest. And then he'll feel in the last leg, he's then done his utmost just to hand the
125.
keys to success to Gemma Hayter here.
She's match sharp as Gemma. Really busy December. Gone into the women's series. Is that the difference? Or is the fighting spirit of
140.
Jamie
Gemma, you
Lewis still
require
there? Right
79.
down to the wire. But it's Gemma. First down. Strange way to go when your opponent's on 120. She might have to be reliant on the treble there. Doesn't get all she can do now is lay it up.
39.
Jamie Lewis, a
Jamie,
big
you require
opportunity.
120.
I don't think that was the right decision.
The first start will hold all the keys to this visit. Just underneath. Has to move across. He's got a small portion of the left-hand corner to aim at. Cannot find. And so as a result,
60.
Gemma Hayter's got 3
Gemma,
darts
you
at tops to
require
win it.
40.
It's been nip and tuck. A crucial game. Big dart.
20. Jamie, you require 60.
Well, Jamie Lewis probably didn't expect this opportunity, particularly the way he started the leg. But to his credit, he has found a way back into it. And is he going to find a way back into this group? Double top
Game's
is
up,
found.
and the match,
And Jamie
Jamie
Lewis
Lewis.
gets the better of Gemma Hayter by 4 legs to 3. A big win that for Jamie, who puts himself onto 6 points. And for Gemma Hayter, she's got a big task ahead of her now, as she is to qualify through. 2 ton plus checkouts in that game for Gemma Hayter, but it's 4-3 that Jamie Lewis wins that game by. Coming up after the break, Leonard Gates takes on Barry Copeland.
And welcome back to the Modus Super Series live on Pluto TV on the back of a crucial game between 3rd and 4th place. It was Jamie Lewis against Gemma Hayter. It went right down to the wire. Match darts for Gemma Hayter. But the doubling of Jamie Lewis tonight has been outstanding. And that just saved him with a 60 finish at the end. And it's Jamie Lewis who's in a fantastic position now. But it's Barry Copeland who was the player of the first round. He started the night quite brilliantly. The player was left on 0 points overnight. But the heavy favourite for the group, Leonard Gates, came through. A heavyweight clash with Scott Campbell. So 2 of the informed players, Henry, here. This will test Barry Copeland. I'm just thinking if Barry can get over the line against Leonard Gates.
Leonard to throw first. Game on.
He's probably thinking about going through the card. Does he then come into the equation for qualification?
Well, he's only a couple of points off Jamie Lewis and he would be level on points with Gemma Hayter, so why wouldn't he? Leonard Gates will win here, will qualify.
60.
It is as simple and, well, just simple as that, really. There's nothing else to it. Let's be honest. Sounds so easy, but it isn't. I suppose is the truth behind that. Easier done than said. Help me out, Glenn.
I'm just baffled.
22.
About what?
I'm supposed to be sat with a university journalistic background and just coming up with statements like that.
Glenn, did you ever see anything I ever did at uni?
I can only think it was a little bit of chat GBT got you through it.
60.
Chat what?
Stick with me, kid.
60.
Well, for Leonard Gates, as I mentioned, he'll be looking to get this job done as soon as possible. He won't want any kind of
85.
Hassle.
You're getting there in the end with these commentary lines here, Henry. But yeah, it's he's so unpredictable, Leonard. Like I said, he doesn't even look like he's at the races already in this game.
65.
12 darts thrown and still on 274. He looked fantastic in his opening game with Scott Campbell and was just bang on the 100 average mark.
60.
Well, this is a big, big chance here for Barry Copeland against throw. Not doing anything spectacular himself.
I think Leonard Gates has done exactly what I've done. Hit a brick wall right now.
42.
Typical Gates.
180. Barry 134.
Typical Gates. And look where he's left. The lesser spotted double 17. And he will get a chance at that. Who knows if he was going to go direct. But if he does, it is the least hit double.
58. Leonard, you acquire
On the
34.
dartboard. Over to you, Leonard.
Splits. Hits.
Game shot on the first leg.
Knew his
Leonard
MO
Gates.
and executed it perfectly. Gates leads 1-0.
Yeah, he is box office, isn't he? I mean, you just
Second
can't
leg
take
is
your eyes
Barry
off
to
him.
throw first. Game on.
But he has all the characteristics, Henry, to be fair, to to not only get through this group, which he's going to do that,
140.
but arguably win tomorrow night as well. Possibly going his favourite as well, do you think?
I've got no
45.
idea. I honestly, I've been trying to rack my brains around it for the last few hours, and I've just decided I am none the wiser. I just think it's so open this week. You can genuinely make a case for all 6 players. Burness played well Thursday. Wachiuri's on the crest of a wave. You expect a better version of Osborne. Gates, of course, is a contender. Scott Campbell, if he gets through, the way he's been playing could be dangerous.
140.
Jimmy Hayter could have a home crowd. Jamie Lewis is playing inspired. And Barry Copeland, if he gets through, he's going to be dangerous.
It'd be dangerous because he was out. No wins overnight.
100.
So absolutely then becomes a contender. But I think you're absolutely spot on. It's going to be one of the most open Saturday nights we've had for a long, long time.
96.
Yeah, we already know the first game tomorrow night. Kevin Burness against Colin Osborne. Belted of a way to start. I don't think you'd want to be in that group.
Feels like a live League Legends game, that one.
105.
Copeland leads himself on 96 after just a dozen darts. Looking to level up at 1 apiece.
100.
Looking for a hold
Barry acquired
apiece.
96.
Treble 19 for double 12. Back in this match,
Game
1-1.
shot on the second leg. Barry Copeland.
And a really good recovery that from Barry Copeland after the errant first dart.
The leg is Leonard to throw first. Game on.
Just tapping Leonard Gates on the shoulder.
95.
Are you a fan of the CDC? Do you keep your Do you look out for the results there? Because there seems to be an organisation, competitions that are really growing. I've been chatting a lot with John Part about it. And, you know, obviously Leonard Gates is one of the real big hitters in that.
Manageable progress is how I describe the CDC circuit. It's growing year on year, but what it's doing is it's streamlining itself in a way that it's not got this massive exponential growth now, which will then dip down. What it's doing is it's doing things in a stable way, which can last a number of years ahead. The proof's been in the pudding with the players that have been more competitive. We've seen them here at the Super Series in the past. Jim Long's a great example of it.
59.
I suppose the biggest question that we can ask of darts in that part of the world is everybody who's coming through and flourishing is slightly older. And perhaps the one question you'd have now from that region is, who's going to be the next young star? Who's going to be that next 22, 23-year-old player that's going to come through? Now, that's not easy. That is not easy. Think about the geography of the United States and Canada. It's a big country, very expensive to get through. And there's a lot of people that haven't quite got the income to do that, parents that be able to do that. And also, you've got to think about certain rules and certain laws in terms of places where you play darts, where people wouldn't be allowed in up until the age of 21 in America, 19 in Canada. So there's a lot of hoops to jump, but that would be the next step, would be that next young superstar from that particular part of the world.
128. Leonard, you require 150.
Who knows which way he's going to go? 90 points left. I quite like that. It was such a good marker.
140.
Don't know if I'm keen on the last one though, Leonard. Certainly put the pressure on Barry Copeland. He lost the opening leg, but he's a dart away now to lead this match for the first time.
54. Leonard, you require
well, Leonard's
10.
left double five because he just wanted to stick with what he knew was safe mathematically. And elects to split. Double two. Now, was the flight in the way there? I think the indication with the dart flying into the 15 was yes, it was. This is a great chance for Copeland. He looks at double five. The target that Gates neglected.
15.
But he cannot find, and Gates has got a decision again.
10.
Oh, he'll have to change his name on the back to the Maddie. He is fuming. Look at his face behind him there, that realisation. Will he be back though? Because Leonard thought that was in. Is it awkward?
Game shot.
Absolutely not. Leonard Gates leads this match by 2 legs to 1. But just going back to your answer there on the CDC.
Full leg is Barry to throw first. Game on.
I really enjoy looking at the Asian tour. I think the DPA is just, I'm not so sure where we're at now. But the Asian tour, wouldn't it be fantastic if we had a global
60.
superstar from that area of the world? I mean, we've spoke so much about Wachiuri and African darts this week, but if we could just tap into that Asian market and get a real superstar from
140.
Well, we had that with Akira Suzuki, didn't we, in the women's game when she picked up 2 World Championship titles. She was the hot property of women's darts for a good couple of years. That form from her has just kind of drifted a little bit now. But we did see at the World Championship a couple of years ago, the run of Man Lok Lung and Tomoya Goto. There is quality out in that part of the world.
60.
I mean, I tell you what I would love, I'm not sure how practically possible it is you have a week where the Group A are 6 players from 6 different continents. So you have a player from Europe, a player from North America, a player from Africa,
43.
Asia. You know where I'm coming from. South America would be a little bit difficult, admittedly.
41.
Would you be commentating on it?
Probably more likely than not, I'll be commentating, yeah. Never know, we could take it on location for that week.
140.
Fancy a little bit of a road trip somewhere?
Yeah, let's go to Addis Ababa. Wow, it's a bounce out and a half, that one.
14.
No, Leonard, you cannot have that one again.
$140.
So Copeland 58 for a level game at 2-2.
59. Barry acquire 58.
Well, Copeland hasn't had to play his best, but he's got an opportunity to square up. A couple of 140 turns has given him this opportunity, given him this chance.
Game
He
start
takes
the
the
fourth
tops.
leg, Barry Copeland.
And we go level at 2-2.
Strange old game.
Fifth leg is Leonard to throw first.
What do you make of that, Glenn?
Game
It
on.
doesn't look comfortable, does he? Big practice of Leonard Gates. Often when he gets into the venue so late. I mean, it's almost the similarity to Christopher Ratachki in the pro game, who does leave it right to the last minute before. And Leonard's often the last one there, but it's almost like he was
83.
struggling a little bit there. Or was he waiting for his sarsaparilla again?
Well, he played at the Seniors World Championship last week, and of course that is a long format. You're playing long set play. Then he's
59.
travelled straight here. He has played all 5 days. And that's on the back of them playing the Masters and other tournaments. There has been a lot of reps in that man's
60.
system. And perhaps it's not surprising that after so long, the body says, there's only so much I can take. You're on your own, pal.
He has got long to wait before he's on again. I mean, he's rapid matches tonight.
97.
Got Gemma Hayter against Scott Campbell up next. Another huge game for Gemma. And then it's Jamie Lewis against Leonard Gates. So you want to get this one over and done with. Darts like that will help.
Well, every single player has a night where they have to be on, off, on, off, on, off. And for Leonard Gates, he is the player that has to deal with that scheduling.
137.
Some players don't mind it. But if Leonard Gates is nursing something, it's perhaps not the ideal scenario.
55.
Yeah, double trouble next week. Leonard Gates will have played a lot of darts before. I don't know if that's going to be friend or foe for him. Who do you fancy for next week? I've gone with Neil Duff.
85.
Course and distance winner.
Andreas Harrison played well at the UK Open, good on his doubles, and I think in a double-in, double-out format, you look at the players you think are just the most solid, and they'll be the ones that win through, and I just reckon Andreas could well be that player next week.
It's all about Barry Copeland at the moment because treble 18's needed. He'll stay there.
55. Leonard, you acquire
Unpredictable
85.
Leonard Gates. At times he's looked $1 million. At times he's looked like he's struggling out there. Misses the straight 20. Doesn't even look at the last
38.
dart.
Barry acquires 68.
Well, that was a little bit petulant if you're going to be brutally honest about it. Copeland looking at 68. 13 ball. Well, the treble's a bonus. It leaves him double 12.
44.
He wasn't too far away, but Gates...
Leonard, you acquire 47.
He's himself on 47. The last dart was thrown with, well, pretty much no vigour whatsoever.
He simply didn't aim, but hit a 20, so he's got away with one. He's got 2 darts at double 16. Doesn't need to move. There's the eye line. There's the dart. Leonard Gates once again, not for the first time, Henry, has got away with one. He's doing a Luke Humphreys on us now.
Barry to throw first. Game on.
Well, Barry Copeland is absolutely seething. It looks like Leonard Gates may have done himself an injustice. Where's the first aider?
60.
Well, Barry's not happy. He was telling his darts to get up.
Quite simply, Barry has to win all 4 games so you can see the frustration. He'll be even more frustrated when he turns out because
100.
he's in there. Yeah, I mean, the razor sharp, those wires. And obviously, if you can catch them with your finger, they can be cut. We've seen so many players say we had it recently with Luke Humphreys going into a final of a Premier League game.
Did you remember that incident where Chris Mason cut himself?
180.
Where he was playing at the seniors and he'd cut himself on the 5, and as he's retrieving a dart, not that he knew that the blood was pouring from his hand, it then smudged all over the 5 segment. It was not a pleasant sight.
100.
Well, this leg's been a pleasant sight for Leonard Gates after 6 darts. Down to 2-2, 160 ahead plus these.
100.
That last dart is just classic Leonard Gates. Just the finesse, the way he just uses that first dart and just sits above it. Copeland needs a max.
Is Copeland going to get the max?
140.
He doesn't want to finish, but it's huge advantage Leonard Gates. This 1-2-1 sends him to Saturday night's final if he gets double 14. Leonard Gates is into the Saturday showpiece once again at the Super Series. The American ace will be hoping third time is a charm, but he may have done himself an injury and an injustice in the process of progressing through. Looked like he was looking down at a cut on one of his fingers, but he's been a cut above the rest in this Group B. He's beaten Barry Copeland by 4 legs to 2 to progress his way through to the final tomorrow night. And he's done it with some finesse, he's done it with some class, and he's done it with a 1-2-1 checkout. We're going to take a short break, and when we return, it's going to be the middle match of the evening. And it's a pivotal one. Scott Campbell can open up daylight on Gemma Hayter, but if Hayter can win the clash, then we'll have 3 players all lying on 6 points at the halfway stage of the night. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000.
The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison!
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor!
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim Wachiuri.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Luke Littler!
And welcome back to the Modus Super Series live on Pluto TV. And we have our fourth qualifier for Saturday night's finals night. And no surprise to many, by the name of Leonard Gates. In his opening game of the night, he was superb and averaged just under a ton. Had to get himself going in that game, in the game we've just watched there against Barry Copeland, but did enough in the end. And also, is that the end of the challenge for Barry Copeland? He'll still be hoping he can still get to 6 points and that being enough, but he could be reliant on other players. But the focus is now on Gemma Hayter. She's just been involved in a crucial game with Jamie Lewis. Both were sat in qualifying positions, and it's Jamie Lewis who just got over the line in that one with Gemma Hayter missing match darts.
First leg, it's
For
Gemma
Scott
to throw
Campbell,
first. Game on.
just the one game he's played tonight. It was the top of the table clash. It was first against second, but Leonard Gates getting over the line. So both searching for the first win tonight. And Henry, every game just seems really important at the moment.
Yeah, you feel like this is a key patch you play. Scott Campbell wins this. He's got daylight, and then it will look like it is a straight fight between Jamie Lewis and Gemma Hayter for the third position. But if Gemma wins this,
81.
then it is really open for interpretation. Lewis will take on Gates next. Remember, Leonard Gates is through. Then Hayter will take on Copeland, a much improved version of Copeland. It'll then be Campbell against Lewis, and Jamie's night would come to an end before Gemma Hayter finishes off her campaign against Leonard Gates, and then Scott Campbell will end the show against Barry Copeland. But I have to say, it's very nice to be watching the action this evening in the commentary box alongside internet celebrity Glenn Durrant.
45.
Wow, what have I done?
You're just famous, aren't you?
$60.
Could have nearly caught that. Could have had more blood on the fingers there this time for Scott Campbell, but a good start here for Gemma Hayter on throw. Can she build on that? Should move.
59.
Well, it'd be a bit like that Sophie Ellis-Bextor track. It'd be Murder on the Dartboard. Well, Hayter's left 167, but how handy can Campbell leave this? Would love another treble here. Finds another treble to leave himself on a two-darter. Hayter look at a 167 to take a 1-0 lead. It's not going to be got on this particular occasion, and so Campbell, for the break, should get a dart at Totsham here to take a 1-0 lead.
Nice and straight with the first. Treble is the bonus. Real quality.
Game shot in the first leg.
Excellent finish from Scott Campbell. He's been brilliant in this Group B campaign. Just a couple of little blips here and there. But a win here against Gemma Hayter. And he is looking good to be our fifth qualifier. And I think he's going to be a wonderful addition to a very open Saturday night. And tickets still available. Just scan that QR code. There is a small booking favour, let me tell you. It's worth it when you come here. For darts like that. Just sat behind the shoulder of the players there for that unique atmosphere at this brilliant venue.
140.
A venue which has been witness to great moments, but it's not going to be a 9-darter in this particular leg for Scott Campbell. But there's been a good performance 96. So far. And for Gemma Hayter, you'd only be human if the alarm bells weren't beginning to ring right now.
82.
Yes, a 14-darter to win the opener for Scott Campbell. A 180-96 start. His average is massive at the moment early in this game. It just tells you the task that Gemma Hayter's got in front of her right now.
100.
Campbell looking at 125 to double the lead to 2-0.
125.
We feel like he's got 6 from here, although Hayter has left herself on a finish. Tops.
105.
Just below.
Jamie got 154.
Yeah, that was for a 12-dart at the back at 14-dart up. We said he may have 6. Gemma Hayter thinks different. What a finish,
Game, start the second
1-1.
leg, Gemma Hayter.
The third ton plus finish Gemma Hayter's got tonight, and that's actually the biggest finish of the group.
leg is Gemma to throw
154
first.
is as big as we've got. She actually
Game
had the
on.
biggest finish of yesterday, did Gemma Hayter. That was only a 121. But not just was it a big finish, but it was an important finish as well.
57. $55.
How a match can change so quickly. Just while it was happening, Scott Campbell.
139.
Such the sportsman, congratulating Gemma in this crucial game. Scott Campbell is averaging over 107 at the moment.
100.
A match of real high quality.
$140. $26.
This is beautiful to watch. The 154 was one thing.
133.
Beautiful setup play. Scott Campbell looks stunned at the moment. He's back on 320. This was a player who was averaging 114 just before that 154 finish.
Well, Gemma Hayter here is averaging just under 104 this present moment in time. And after what was a slow start,
Game
things
shot
really
the
are coming up to the
Gemma
boil.
Hayter.
It's a 13 darter. It's 2 on Gemma Hayter. And suddenly, things are looking a bit more rosy for the player from Gosport.
Throw first. Game on.
Yes, we'll keep you updated with in-play tables and permutations as well.
140.
Barry Copeland is hanging on by his shirt tails right now. That defeat in the previous game was reliant on others not winning. And we could be talking about our first elimination from this group and looking from 3 from 4. That's how we felt it was going to go. Great numbers in this game, Henry.
Yeah, both players over the ton. We're kind of awaiting the game that was really going to spring this group into life. We've seen some
140.
decent contests, but this, well, this is special, isn't it? These are two players that are playing at their peak powers, their peak performance,
45.
playing their A-grade stuff. I mean, Scott played well in his opening match. Was beaten by Leonard Gates, who averaged 99.5 against him.
100.
So we knew the performance levels were there. He averaged just under 93, did Scott, in that game. And he's been the most consistent player in the group. And if the truth be told, he has been the player of the group.
Scott, you got 121.
He can go any way he wants on this. Many players would start on the ball. Stay traditional. Playing it nice and safe. Just looking for the setup play, and he'll take that
90.
every day of the week. So will the Scottish captain.
$60. Scott, you require 31.
So to go level at 2-2. Double 8 will be the desired target. A wonderful,
Game
wonderful
shot the ball
response from
back.
Campbell.
Scott Campbell.
Gemma Hayter on that 154 finish, and then that beautiful leg to boot.
Good leg, it's Gemma to
Scott
throw
Campbell
first.
did not
Game
relent.
on.
Wonderful response. Quality game.
2-2, and both players are giving absolutely
45.
everything. And then this is the level of performance that Gemma Hayter has got in her locker. And I think for her, and I think she's the first to admit, yes, she's at the beginning of her journey, but she knows that if she could play this at a more consistent basis, she could be a force to be reckoned with. It was interesting. We had an interview with her earlier, and this was a line that stuck with me. I don't want to be a good female
60.
dart player. I want to be a good dart player.
Yeah, I don't want to be the bearer of sort of bad news, but if Gemma does lose this game, that's 4 losses on the spin.
180.
Scott Campbell once again is demonstrating those qualities which would make him so dangerous come tomorrow night, because it has a more of a feel
59.
of a knockout. You need those gears, need those levels. And throughout this day and a bit, he has showed that.
$40.
It's a good dart.
140.
Great response. Just when I was beginning to possibly write her off for this game, but absolutely nothing to separate them. The most important thing, I guess, is Scott Campbell is against throw here. Was effectively stolen that.
80.
And that last dart just makes him a big favourite for this leg. Gemma, that lateral drift into 5 has been a problem for her.
30. Scott, you require 118.
Campbell looking at 118. Doesn't go, and so Hayter's going to have a look here at 167.
44. Jeremy require 167.
Well, 74 is not a gimme. So plan A doesn't work. Needs a treble, needs to put pressure on the 74. Once again, the lateral drift into the 5 is really hurting Gemma. Not as much pressure on this 74 than there could have been.
But how key a moment, how this really could swing things in the favour of Scott Campbell. This is for the break, and this is to throw for the match. 88. In it goes. Campbell leads 3-2. He's got the break of throw. He now has the throw to win this match. Now, it really is a tight group, Glenn. And you look at the in-play table. Gates is through. He is safe on 10 points. Scott Campbell on 8. Lewis on 6. Hayter on 4. And Barry Copeland on 2. It's very uniform this present moment in time. Campbell with the darts in his hand to see himself through to the finals tomorrow night.
85.
Now, we're not overly sure as to how things are going to end up in this group. So I've had a little help with some AI assistants. I've had a look on ChatGPT and see what they think the final standings are going to be. And they do not think there's going to be a change in the standings. They think that Scott Campbell's going to win the group, Leonard Gates is going to finish second, and Jamie Lewis is going to be the third place player in the group. AI, Glenn, it's the future.
Just real lazy journalism from you.
100.
Just so disappointing. Goes through university and having to rely on AI.
I'll tell you what, let's see whether they know who Glenn Durrant is.
140.
Apparently you're widely regarded for your success.
I'd rather concentrate on Scott Campbell's success because he's moments away from victory here. It's been a mighty fine performance from Scott Campbell, who's heavily on the practice board tonight. He knew he had 2 tough opening games. Fell short in the first one against Leonard Gates, who was brilliant in that one. 71 points left. Treble 13 will be the shot. 2 darts away from victory, and Gemma Hayter, it's hope over expectation.
And so Campbell here looking at 58 to seal a 4-2 win and to put himself onto 8 points. It's probably going to be enough. It's not going to rubber stamp his place through, but he's in a very good position. He was disappointed last time that he didn't qualify.
38.
And he's missed 2 darts and a double to put himself on the brink of it.
Yeah, Gemma can't finish, but certainly will put some pressure on.
100.
Scott Campbell didn't look, just went back, went through his process, a little sip of the water, back to the hockey. Get yourself ready, eyes on double 10. Look at that, never once taking it off. Throw for where you're aiming. Bang! Scott Campbell, that's a really important 2 points against Gemma Hayter, who's now lost 4 on the spin. It's going to be difficult for Gemma Hayter. She needs to gather her thoughts and come back even stronger now. But But the gentleman, that is Scott Campbell, moves to 8 points. He's dipping his toe into qualification. He was round the 100 average mark in that game, but 96.49, a superb performance. And we move on to the next game very quickly. It's Jamie Lewis up again against Leonard Gates.
$54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
require
hockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think he's gone to bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Gave wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Go
Couldn't get the job
Got
done.
in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Skate.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Skate!
Tops for the screamer.
Game shot number
What a
4.
finish from Leonard.
Game
But
shot
there is no
and a match.
problems here for Robert
And the
Thornton.
double treble 2 week champion.
17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible.
Game shot
And sometimes it's the biggest moments that make
You got to be kidding. Oh, that's cruelty from Neil Dock.
Double Trouble 3 gets underway next week, and in Group A we're going to see Simon Whitlock and Steve Beaton amongst some of the big names in action. Robert Thornton is looking to defend his title. Ted Evans lost the final to Thornton in September, and he's going to be in Group B alongside the newly crowned World Seniors champion Ross Montgomery. Keegan Brown plays on the stage for the first time in Group C in the afternoons of Thursday and Friday. That's next week. This is tonight. And this is what we have seen so far. Scott Campbell running out a 4-2 winner against Gemma Hayter before the break. He moves on to 8 points. Leonard Gates has won each of his opening 2 games, and he's the only player who has secured his passage through so far. Now, this is how the table looks. It's uniformed after the first couple of games. Gates, Campbell, Lewis in the 3 qualifying spots. Gemma Hayter, who began the night in 3rd, has dropped down to 4th. Barry Copeland on 2 points in the group. Now, this is how the tournament bracket looks, and as you can see, everybody in Group B is still in contention. Colin Osborne won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. Peter Wachiuri and Kevin Burness were the 2 players through Group C, whilst Leonard Gates the only qualifier through. Scott Campbell's almost there. Barry Copeland's unlikely to be there. It looks like the battle will be between one of Jamie Lewis and Gemma Hayter to see who is going to be the final player that progresses through to finals night on Saturday evening. And it's a big game for Jamie Lewis coming up now. He takes on Leonard Gates. It's game 6 of the evening session. And for Jamie, he hasn't quite been at his best so far, but was able to conjure up a result against Gemma Hayter in his second match. As for Leonard, well, he got out flying, 99.48 average. 4 from 6 in terms of his doubles in a 4-2 win over Scott Campbell. It beat Barry Copeland by the same scoreline, but in terms of performance, it wasn't quite anywhere near what you would expect. But he did round the game off with a 121 checkout. So it's Lewis and Gates. It's game 6 of the session, and we're going to be watching it in the company of Glenn Durran. Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Henry. It was pretty straightforward for Leonard Gates against Jamie Lewis.
Game on.
Yesterday, and at that point, it wasn't looking good for Jamie. But he won his final 2 games yesterday. It was very disappointing, his opening game today. But as Henry mentioned, that game against Gemma Hayter was a game he just to say fell over the line in that one. Which means if he can beat Leonard Gates, which is a tough proposition, he puts himself in a marvellous position, and Gemma Hayter will be looking for help from there. But Gemma Hayter may get help from the top 2 because Jamie Lewis's last 2 games is Leonard Gates and Scott Campbell. So getting 2 points could be tough, and that leg difference that Henry mentioned earlier could be crucial as we look for qualification. So not all over yet for Gemma Hayter, but she'll be backstage thinking it's all sort of getting away from her.
100.
Well, she's hoping that Leonard Gates does him a massive, massive favour here.
$100.
Well, Leonard Gates is asking all the questions in this opening leg. Maxi there leads himself on 41. Remember, he qualified through with a 1-2-1 checkout. He also won a game with an 11 darter. Is he putting a lot of components together now as the night goes along?
Absolute quality from Leonard Gates.
100. Leonard require 41.
So for that 11 darter. Just has a little look at the floor, goes through his process. Usually so dynamite on his doubles as well. It was a beautiful leg of darts on the scoring phase. Yet Jamie Lewis still has an opportunity to sneak this opener.
Treble 19. Doesn't go, so Gates will come back for double 8.
93.
To get
Leonard
the break of throw.
16.
Leonard looking to subscribe to the formula.
Game start in the first leg.
13 darter to break the throw. It was a decent opening leg.
Do you think we're looking at our winner tomorrow night, Henry?
Well, he's looking more
Second
convincing, isn't he, Leonard Gates? And I think there was a question
Game on.
perhaps in the middle of the previous match where he looked like he was just hobbling a little bit, that possibly the rest of the night could be a little bit treacherous. But it looks as if the fact that he's gone through is allowing him just to play with more freedom. 13 darter to win leg 1. He's kicked off Max at the beginning of leg 2. He's had 3 180s already. Jamie Lewis is playing okay, but playing okay is doing absolutely nothing
60.
against a man who is running red hot right now. Can I take it back?
83.
I think Jamie Lewis has got his confidence back after that win against Gemma Hayter. I figured for him after his opening game.
95.
He was averaging in the 60s and that for the majority of it. Nothing you can do when your opponent's just flinging the
60.
darts like Leonard Gates does. Just brilliant to watch. As Henry mentioned, 3 180s already, just a leg and a bit gone.
$99.
And we do know that he has this real A game in the locker, Leonard Gates.
94.
He just feathers the darts. If you just watch the time, if you watch the release point of Jamie Lewis, it's an effort. You can see it's like a real push of that arm going through. Watch the difference between the two players.
83. Leonard, you require
Right on the
84.
desired target, but just watch, it's almost no effort whatsoever with Leonard Gates. Misses the big number for the bullseye attempt it would have been.
And 31 scored.
So 53 points left, Leonard.
44. Jamie, you require
He's himself
164.
tops. Jamie Lewis looking at 164 to level back up. Not to beat. So Gates looking at tops.
60. Leonard, you require 40.
Awkward. Yes.
20.
Yes, it was. And suddenly we're
Jamie,
looking at
require
record averages. I think
104.
we could put that aside now.
Yeah, you can sort of see that little... He's not 100%, is he? He's walking back there to the hockey. You sensed it was awkward after the first two darts. You see him just have a little nervy look at the
44.
score.
Leonard, you require 20.
He doesn't often need a second chance. This for a 2-0 lead. Smack
Game
bang
shot
in the
for second
middle.
leg. Leonard Gates.
Well, after all that, the average goes down to 93.94. There was a point in that leg where we're looking at record
leg is
numbers for
Jamie
Leonard
to
Gates.
throw
His record
first.
recorded
Game on.
average is 113.24. That came in a Q-score match back in 2022 against Sam Cankett of Wales. His highest televised average
100.
came at the World Seniors match play. In fact, it's the record televised average for a match in the World Seniors against David Cameron, 101.28.
123.
I think we saw the highest average at the UK Open today, but I did question then. I thought Phil Taylor had a bigger average at the UK Open.
It was the highest average on the outside boards, it turned out to be in the end.
Right.
41.
Taylor had 118.88, but obviously that would have been on the main board against Kevin Painter. I'm sure he was happy about that. But Leonard Gates, just having a look here, 50 career titles in his career.
Yeah, he's got that beautiful thing on his CV, isn't it? Tournaments like the Choo Choo Classic. 4 180s in this game already. I'm beginning to
45.
look at the record books myself for the most 180s in a match. 7 it is. Mark Dudbridge, that's been there for a long, long time. If this goes the full
60.
7 legs, who knows?
Well, the biggest problem he's got is he's completely outscored Jamie Lewis. He's going to run out of time to do it.
$100. Leonard, you require 138.
Jamie looks like he's just been hit by the sucker punch too much.
98.
Yeah, the big games keep on coming because if Jamie Lewis does lose this game, Gemma Hayter is back up next against Barry Copeland, who'll be feeling deflated. I think he felt he needed the 4 wins tonight.
100. Leonard, you require 40.
For a 3-0 lead. He fluffed his lines on tops last time.
Game
No
shot
such
the
problem.
third leg. Leonard Gates.
Leonard Gates goes 1 away.
Yeah, he's looking more and more like the winner of the week now, Danny Leonard Gates. He's 3-0 up.
leg is Leonard
He's got
to
the
throw
throw for the match.
first.
Jamie Lewis
Game
just
on.
looks like he's just been led blindsided by the brilliance of the American. Well, you mentioned some of the tournaments that Leonard Gates has won in his career, and there really are some corkers.
140.
This just a list of some of the tournaments that he has won in his career. In no particular order. He has won the Groundhog Open on 2 occasions, the Hedgehog Hellraiser, the Metroplex Open,
100.
winner of the Missouri St. Patrick's Day Open, the Music City Classic, the Virginia Beach Classic, the Washington Area Open,
41.
the Which City Open, the Camellia Classic, the Choo Choo Classic on 2 occasions, twice the winner of the Shoot for the Moon, and the winner of the White Mountain Shootout. He played, of course, at the World Seniors
117.
Championship, beat Michael Huntley in his first game by 3-1 before then losing by that scoreline to Graham Usher in a game which at times was a little bit tempestuous.
40.
Yes, it was a little fiery. We saw a little bit of that with Graham Usher's reactions when he played Ross Montgomery in the final as well. I think Ross was just trying to help him in that game. And that was a real bizarre moment, but many
95.
congratulations to Ross Montgomery. He will be here for double trouble and he'll be full of confidence.
It's been a better leg
140.
from Jamie, but just when he thought maybe he might have a little bit of daylight, Leonard Gates piles in another 140.
Yes, it was exactly this time yesterday when he was 3-0 down to Gemma Hayter when the whole situation changed for Jamie.
68. Jamie
Who knows?
require 89.
You can only start one leg at a time. So to get on the board, treble 19 for double 16. The finish has been really good tonight from the players.
Game start the 4th leg. Jamie Lewis.
And that trend continues. Jamie Lewis in his opening 2 games could not miss a double. Once again, he's 50%. He's not getting many opportunities. But when he is, Henry, he's taken them.
5th leg, it's Jamie to throw first.
And usually
Game
that's the
on.
bit where players struggle the most when they've had a bit of a long layoff. I think he would have seen enough in terms of his performance this week to say that maybe things are going in a good direction, but he's going to need constant reps. That's going to be the
140.
next step.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think you'd be absolutely delighted. That certainly would be. I think it's the word competitive. He's gone through a period in times where
41.
he just wasn't. He sort of come back. He was good on that WDF tour. He said he only played the 10-11 Opens and won the one in Belgium, then went really quiet again for a couple of years. Could be back with a bang if he can get through to this Saturday night. Who knows what's going to happen this week?
Well, somewhat of a regular fixture back in our previous studio in Southampton was Jamie.
100.
Totally different conditions to what we have here, but I'll tell you what, we might have a dart game on here, Glenn. We might finally have a match. Because Leonard Gates looked like he was beginning a
100.
possession at 3-0 as he was maxing his way through the match. But Lewis is taking full advantage of what is a little bit of a stall from Leonard Gates.
28. Jamie, you require 121.
I thought he put his earphones back in there for a second. He was doing the choo-choo shuffle. Quality stuff here from Jamie. You can just see in the background there, Leonard Gates. He's still got another week
59.
of darts to go next week. Yeah, it's not a good sign.
$100. Jamie requires 62.
62 for Lewis to bring it back to 3-2. And Leonard Gates in the background looks as if he is beginning to flag.
30.
And Jamie Lewis has to sense and smell that blood.
I was going to say typical Gates to smash in a 180, but far from it.
43.
He does
Jamie
have the
requires
darts in the
32.
next leg. If Jamie Lewis can break him one more time, this could be an incredible
Games on the
repeat
fifth
of
leg,
yesterday.
Jamie
Just a
Lewis.
reminder, this time last night, Jamie Lewis looked down and out, 3-0 down, lost his opening 2 games, come back and won
Sixth leg is
4-3.
Leonard to throw
Leonard Gates, we were
first.
even looking
Game
at
on.
record averages, record amount of 180s. All of a sudden, it's game on.
60.
Well, from game over to game on, particularly if Jamie Lewis can find a big score here.
58.
Perfect.
100.
I'd be slightly disappointed with that, because if you're going to place a dart for Leonard Gates in the treble 20, that first one was it. He wants this over and done ASAP.
And if Jamie Lewis could pull off the comeback here,
47.
Gemma Hayter would be one game away from elimination. If Jamie turns this around, he'd be on 8 points. Gemma Hayter's stuck on 4. If Barry Copeland was then to beat Hayter in the next match, it's all done. It's all over.
61.
Campbell and Lewis would be through.
Yes, the if, buts and maybes will keep you fully updated throughout the night. I'm sure supporters of all those players are watching intently.
100.
One big score from here from Gates. Has he got enough petrol in the tank?
100.
It's so interesting. Leonard Gates looked like he was running out of steam in the previous leg, but it looks as if he's just found a second win. But that's a better first start for Jamie. But he's unable to follow it.
100.
And he mentioned during his World Championship campaign in 2018 when he got through to the semi-finals, his FDM-like qualities, where if that first dart hit, 2 more followed.
44.
Not quite happening that way, but Leonard's given him a bit of an opening here.
140 here. Jamie Lewis, incredibly for me, becomes favourite for the match.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time this week he would have come back from 3-0 down in a game. He did so yesterday against Gemma Hayter.
136. $100. Jamie acquired 96.
Quite simply, it's now or never. Treble 20 needed. Treble 20 got. 3-0 down, remember. Now 3-3. What a performance. What a fight back from Jamie Lewis. I bet Gemma Hayter's got her head in her hands right now.
Well, put it this way, Glenn. We've spoken about the power of the Leonard Gates 180s.
So with the final leg,
but as a man
Jamie
who
to throw first.
His career was prided
Game
on
on.
doing consistent stuff correctly, have a look at the scoring power pack. 17 scores of 1 treble for Jamie Lewis. He's constantly keeping himself in play. What a visit that is. That's his biggest visit of the match. In the biggest visit of the match.
It's just the timing.
100.
He was down and out. He was down and out yesterday against Gemma Hayter. He was down and out here against Leonard Gates. Remember that perfect dart play we talk about when we talk about character and those characteristics that you need, that
96.
never say die attitude. That's exactly what Jamie Lewis has got here. This is massive. And for supporters of Gemma Hayter, you may want to look away now,
100.
because this is not the result she wanted.
Well, rejection there for
80.
Jamie Lewis at the far from ideal time. But a cracking third dart, leaves himself on 148. Keeps himself in it.
Jamie acquired 148. $58. Leonard, you require 161.
Is there going to be one last twist and turn? We never know with Leonard Gates. The 161 can't go.
100. Jamie, you require 90.
Massive moments in relation to qualification for this group. And first up, and with an opportunity, it's Jamie Lewis. Is he going to play safe? Is he going to go aggressive? He needs to stay on the 20 bed. He's gone aggressive. It's 5-5 for the comeback of all comebacks. Jamie
Game
Lewis,
shot, and the match,
take a bow.
Jamie Lewis.
Look at that reaction there. 3-0 down against Leonard Gates. He looked down and out. And Just a reminder, this time last night was exactly the same situation against Gemma Hayter. He has put himself in a terrific position. Never say die attitude. Jamie Lewis, wow, that's all I can say. From 3-0 down to 4-3. Big win. Gemma Hayter, you're going to have to follow that. She's up next against Barry Copeland.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series here from the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Before the break, we saw Jamie Lewis come back from 3-0 behind to beat Leonard Gates by 4 legs to 3. And that now means that Gemma Hayter has to beat Barry Copeland. If she doesn't, then Jamie Lewis and Scott Campbell will both head through with 3 matches of our night session left to play. So Barry Copeland could be very, very popular in this practice room, depending on the result of this fixture. For Gemma Hayter, her second Super Series campaign quite simply relies on this contest.
Yeah, she probably feels the best chance of qualifying is almost gone. It's definitely advantage Jamie Lewis, but you've got to give him credit for that fight back. Not once, but twice. I didn't see you coming at 3-0. We were even looking at record books. The fact that if it does go 7 legs, then Leonard Gates could have been looking at the highest ever amount of 180s, but he just sort of fell off the
70.
cliff, didn't he? He just from nowhere hit the skids.
Well, you could tell that he was beginning to fatigue the midway point of the match, and he was racing away. But Jamie Lewis just played at a consistent level, and towards the end, that just caught up with Leonard.
60.
He now is in a very good position. He lost his first 2 games of the group. He's on 4 of the next 5. And it's in an incredibly good position
60.
to get himself into Saturday night's final at his first attempt in this particular bit. He did play once in Southampton in the Super Series format. Well, he played in the Modus Super Series. That was the then Live League, but now turns out to be the Modus Super Series.
43.
Stick with me, Glenn. He did qualify for the Saturday. It was in the previous studio, but he was unable to then make it into Champions Week.
41.
Yeah, I have to say I'm delighted for Jamie. We got a chance to speak to him yesterday as well, and
60.
it could be a big turning point for him. Literally didn't have a clue how he was going to perform. Indications were good, but local league's one thing, more the Super Series stages another.
140.
Gemma got off to a good start against Scott Campbell. Went 2-1 up, averaging 103. But Scott was better able to keep his level than Gemma was in that contest. She still averaged 85,
Gemma
but
130.
she was unable to suppress the 96.5 of her opponent, Chipper 20 Bull. Not to be this time, and so Copeland will come back looking at 113.
Barry, you've got 113. $53. Gemma requires 72.
Options. Big 20. It's all gone just a little bit pear-shaped for Gemma right now.
Barry requires 60.
Well, Barry Copeland's been given effectively a free pass at this. Well, that may be actually a bit of a happy accident.
40.
But double 10 doesn't go. Hayter comes back for tops.
40.
Seems to be the modern way. Double-double these days. Copeland missing out in the second one. Gemma Hayter scrapping for her qualification.
No score.
But everything she
Barry
seems to do at the moment is not
20.
enough. Chance for Copeland for the opener.
Double 10. Inviting guide. Now he's got to try and loop it over the top.
Game
does
shot
so
the first
well.
leg,
A shake of the
Barry
head. He
Copeland.
leads 1-0, but he's not happy at all. Is Barry Copeland.
Second leg is Barry.
And let's be frank about it.
Game on.
Barry would have been a player that turned up this week and would have thought that getting through to Saturday was the minimum requirement for him. That's the talent that he possesses.
I think there'll be a few players from
140.
Group C and Group B who are going to say to themselves, missed opportunity.
140.
The focus is on double trouble next week. But just looking at some of the groups from week 7 to week 12, there's some absolute beauties.
140.
Don't forget, Champions Week begins on Easter Monday, the 21st of April. Could think of a better way to spend a bank holiday, Glenn.
I'm a big watcher from home. Saturday night is staple Modus Super Series, and I just sense, I get the feeling that one of the early qualifiers, similar to Darius Labanauskas last time, who got in early, get the qualification in. And if you can win a Modus Super Series, there could be just that spark you need.
97.
Not only monetary-wise,
81.
but just moving on with your career. For a 2-0 lead, it looks like it's going to be 12 and Bull. The treble leaves double 13. That's what Barry Copeland can do. We have not seen enough of that in this Group B campaign.
Much more like it. Barry Copeland here is 2 legs away
first.
From knocking
Game
Gemma
on.
Hayter out the Super Series, from sending Jamie Lewis through, from sending Scott Campbell through. And for Gemma,
45.
she looks like a player now that knows that she is in big trouble, but at this present moment in time is unable to react.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to take, that's for sure.
60.
I would say she's got bigger things on the horizons, but she openly admitted to us being here at the Modus where she wants to be. This is one of her key priorities.
140.
She's a player I think we're going to see a lot of this year, whether it be in the Super Series. You'd imagine she'll be looking to retain her Tour Championship title. The Global Championship, the expanded field, will probably be something that she'll be setting her eyes upon as well. And I think the big carrot that's been dangled for her this year is the women's match play for the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. That's probably going to be the biggest priority for her this year, to make sure she gets into that tournament.
Yeah, it's a wonderful occasion. I was involved last year and weren't sure how big the crowd was going to be on the afternoon. Well, it was almost full, which is indicative of where the women's game is right now. People want to see it. People want to see the likes of Beaugrees.
60.
But we feel that Gemma Hayter has the qualities to test all the very best. But to do it on that stage is another thing.
Beaugrees was excellent tonight.
87.
Against Luke Humphries at the UK Open. The award game against Ryan Searle for the former world champ. But Barry Copeland here, looking at 90 for the
60.
double breaker
Barry
throw
Quire,
and a 3-0
90.
lead.
We'll start in the 20s because Gemma Hayter been down to a finish. This time it's the bullseye.
65. Jamaica 111.
So Hayter 111. Triple 17. Would have left tops, and so Copeland will come back to put
51.
himself to win a leg.
Barry acquired 25.
Just creeps in. But that
Game
smack
shot in the third
bang in the
leg,
middle.
Barry Copeland.
It might be a shock to a few people looking at the league table, but this is the Barry Copeland.
Fourth leg, it's Barry to throw first. Game on.
This is the Martin Thomas of Group C. And they both come with good reputations, good CVs. I mean, Barry Copeland was at Lakeside this year. When you look back at that game with Neil Duffy's good friend, it went right down to the
100.
final leg. That must have been a tough one to take. So it's great to see him still travelling about. It just hasn't been his way, but these are the kind of performances
60.
he can put up and probably expected he was going to do.
Well, we expect both Barry Copeland and Martin Thomas to get invites back. I think there's an expectation we'll see them again at some point. And I think with the pair, I think this will actually serve as motivation for them to be a better version of themselves when they do come back to the live lounge.
97.
Martin actually admitted to me when he left the building earlier that hasn't played as much as perhaps he would have liked, and maybe on Thursday just perhaps was the price he paid. And he says he's going to hammer away and hope to be back before too long. And he actually said that one of his dreams is to play with his son Keenan on the stage. Here's Barry Copeland, though, looking at 1-2-1 to win the match, and 6 of them here.
Are we about to find out? Our 6 qualifiers, we have to wait just a little bit longer.
65.
So just a reminder, a Barry Copeland win here over Gemma Hayter means that Scott Campbell and Jamie Lewis join Leonard Gates in tomorrow night's final.
Barry acquire 56.
Well, this would seal the lineup. Tops of Copeland to knock out Hayter, to send through Campbell, to send through Lewis, and the 6 players for Week 6 finals have been confirmed, and that's courtesy of the daddy doing the business. Barry Copeland gets the better of Gemma Hayter by 4-0. That's how he's done it, and he has sent through Scott Campbell and Jamie Lewis as a result of it. We are going to take a short break, and we're going to see Jamie for the last time He takes on Scott Campbell next. Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius?
Yes.
Let's do it then.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000.
The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor?
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McEwen.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler!
Thank you for joining us back on Pluto TV for the Modus Super Series, and the field is now confirmed for Saturday night, and these two players will both be involved. First of all, Jamie Lewis, the comeback king, twice in this Group B campaign. He's come back from 3-0 down. He's fought with every single dart, showed the character and the tenacity that you need. He will be delighted to be back on that big stage in front of a crowd tomorrow. And Scott Campbell just taking his darts out, the Scottish captain. He come with a big reputation. Players like John Henderson said what he can do, what skills that he has, and he's been superb from his first dart yesterday. So there'll be a credit to the final on Saturday night. A finals night we've labelled as one of the most open fields for a Saturday. It's going to be a tough one to call, Henry.
Which means one thing, Glenn. You're going to have to watch to find out.
86.
Oh, come and join us.
Oh, yes, you can come and join us. Do you know how you come and join us, Glenn?
I'm sure you're going to show me some sort of QR code.
60.
Oh, you've read this memo well. There is a QR code. And what do you do if you scan that, Glenn?
Now you might have to help me. I'm over the age of 50.
Now,
81.
if you scan that QR code with your phone, We can do it together here if you want, Glenn. If you scan the QR code of your phone, it takes you to a website called dartshop.tv.
125.
I've just done it on my phone as we speak. And once there, you can get your tickets.
140. $95.
I suppose this could be a game tomorrow night, so you possibly want to go into that game with victory under your belt. And it almost feels like Jamie Lewis needs to go 2-3-0 down before he starts coming back. Another beautiful start to the leg for Scott Campbell.
32.
Been deadly on his doubles.
Game shot in the first leg. Scott
Once
Campbell.
again, no problem whatsoever. It was a pretty comfortable victory for Scott Campbell over
Second
Jamie
leg
Lewis
is Jamie
yesterday.
to throw first.
4 legs to
Game
1.
on.
We had that incredible run where every single game seemed to be 4-1. Been a lot tighter tonight. But with 3 games to go, we already know our field now, and it's going to be a very open, exciting night, and a big opportunity for a player to win £5,000 tomorrow night.
Well, that was an error 404 for Jamie Lewis in the opening leg.
57.
But who is going to fire home that winning double tomorrow night? Who is going to hold their nerve? Who is going to keep their cool in the furnace-like environment of the Live Lounge on a Saturday?
$38.
Yeah, it's that strange old situation where you've got 3 dead rubbers. I guess if you ask the players who've qualified for tomorrow night, they'd just probably like to get back to the hotel now. But it must be really exciting. You know, I know people watching as our loyal supporters at the Modus Super Series of how players will plan their day. I think the one thing that you shouldn't do is just laze around in bed and just, you know, think about the game.
92.
Get yourself out, some good food, some fresh air. I'd go and say see the sights of Portsmouth, but there's not an awful lot here.
Oi, calm down, Darren, otherwise we'll have words.
140. $140. Jamie
Beautiful start to the match. A 13 darter for Scott Campbell. Potential 14 darter here for Jamie Lewis, who's looking calm and relaxed.
Game shot in the second leg. Jamie
Just
Lewis.
enjoying the darts. The game can be so much easier when you're not putting pressure on yourself. And you can just see he knows he's qualified now.
To throw first.
The shoulders
Game
are
on.
down. He's relaxed. And that's when you will get the best out of yourself. The conundrum is, how do you do that in your first game tomorrow night when you're going to be feeling more nervous?
123.
I think everybody will have that same feeling tomorrow night, where sometimes on a Saturday there's different emotions, different feelings for different players. I think there's going to be a real equilibrium.
96.
And possibly for Jamie Lewis, this could be an inspiration thing. And Saturday, just getting there is going to be a bonus. So he may well relax and just free roll.
I'm just thinking of that players area as well. I mean, there's some characters tomorrow night, isn't there? From Wachiuri to Leonard Gates, to the experience of Colin Osborne, to the likability of Kevin Burness. And then these two will have built a relationship. He just seems a genuine nice guy, does Scott Campbell, doesn't he? And yeah, that dynamic there. People on debut for the finals night. And when you put all that in the mixing point now, I'm really looking forward to it.
92.
Well, Campbell just beginning to push on the lever.
78.
Both players averaging 97. It's been a real good tussle, this. Even though it's a dead rubber, it's not as if both players are just going through the emotions a little bit.
It doesn't feel like a 97, which is a good sign for both of these players as well.
100.
But once again, the doubles for tonight that's been the one thing that stood out for me, and in particular from Jamie Lewis.
100. Scott, you're quite 126.
Which will probably mean right now that's both of the players will mess about with the doubles in this leg.
Well, if Lewis takes out this 167, it'll be the
102.
biggest finish we've
Jamie,
seen in this group. Gemma Hayter has the 154 as the biggest so far, but is it going to be gazumped? No.
I thought you'd call that in there, Henry, for a second.
Scott, you're quite 24.
But now, we said how good the doubles have been. Are they going to back me up? Yes,
Game
they are.
shot,
Campbell
leg,
leads,
Scott
2 legs
Campbell.
to 1. That is Nora
Full
error
leg is
4
Jamie to throw
an error
first.
4-0
Game
4.
on.
They are true figures there. 2 from 2, 1 from 1, 100% record, and the outer ring.
Getting the end result that they searched for.
96.
He's just been like this all group long, hasn't he, Scott Campbell?
121.
He's been granite. Now, you said that the players may look at the delights of Portsmouth. Now, if you were
100.
going to give the players recommendations of places to go and visit, where would they be?
Well, you'll tell me what road it's on, but I found a little cafe that I...
Heated as well, didn't you, remember?
Never again.
Oh, I'll take you for a little drive tomorrow, Glenn, if you want.
I'm taking the goldfish for a walk.
93. Jamie, quite 125.
Lewis has got 6 and 125. Triple 20 tops.
105.
Really is a quality game, this one. They're just quietly but effectively getting on with the job.
100.
Going with
Jamie
throw.
acquired 20.
And this for that trend to continue. This for 2-2.
No score. Scott, you acquire 90.
First missed start at a double. All coming from Jamie Lewis. Will it be punished?
It's the ball. Oh, it's right in the middle.
Campbell.
That was a picturesque bullseye from Scott Campbell. Scott Campbell.
Fifth leg, it's Scott to throw first. Game on.
It's like people write these one-liners for you.
Hang that in the Louvre.
$121. $100.
There's your 3 qualifiers, but of course, bragging rights of top in the group, and also the position that you'll be playing in tomorrow. We know that 2 players that will be in Group A will be Kevin Burness and Colin Osborne.
76.
Who will join them, because that'll be a fierce group.
Well, if the positions stay as they are, Scott Campbell and Jamie Lewis will be the first match of Group 2 tomorrow night.
140.
Meaning Leonard Gates joins Osborne and Burness. That will be a beauty.
3 players that will be separated by very little.
81.
Meaning these 2 players and Wachiuri for that Group B.
Neither of the 2 players have met Peter, have played Peter. And I think playing against Peter is a unique thing because of the energy he provides on the hockey and also some of the mannerisms he has I think Peter could have a big advantage just because of that fact, because they wouldn't have been able to work him out yet. Oh, he's moving here, Campbell. He is moving. His average just drifts above a ton. It probably will drop below it, but a 1-7-1 setup to lead 52 after 12 to win the game 4-1.
100.
It's been a beautiful game.
52.
Two qualifiers, clearly both relaxed, both playing their very best darts. Scott Campbell looks the real deal, and that's the
Game's
reason
up.
why
And the
that
match,
is
Scott
an
Campbell.
outstanding performance from the Scot. And for Jamie Lewis, all the hard work's been done. Many, many congratulations to Jamie Lewis for his qualification. We'll see him back tomorrow night. For Scott Campbell, he will be back for the final game of the night. But just have a look at those numbers. The doubles were absolutely superb. Jamie Lewis did blink in that previous leg there, but he'd be happy with that. 100% on the doubles for Campbell. He goes top of the table. He was superb. As we move on to the penultimate game of Group B, it's Leonard Gates against Gemma Hayter.
Charlie McGuire, 164. 44. 32. Charlie require 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least two handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
require
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last two darts. But he'll be coming back.
The moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
require
Oki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
180.
bust it, maybe. The first title he won, he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Gave wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Got
Couldn't
it,
get the job
got
done.
it, the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Skate.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Skate!
Welcome back to Pluto TV and the Modus Super Series. We've got 2 more games to go on this Friday night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Leonard Gates, with a win here against Gemma Hayter, would be in position 1 in the group. He'd be the winner of Group B. Up against Gemma Hayter, who began in a qualified position but hasn't actually won a game tonight. Loses this one, it'll be 4 defeats from 4, and that will be the end of her here at the Live Lounge.
First
She isn't going to
leg
be
is
back
Leonard
tomorrow
to
night.
throw
Well,
first.
she can, but she'll
Game
have to pay a
on.
£5 admission fee. But her Super Series campaign has come to a close for Series 10.
100.
But if she does want to pay the £5 admission fee, Glenn, do you know how she can buy the £5 ticket?
Let's not even go there.
59.
Do you know, you're getting more boring by the day, you. Do you know that?
60.
Well, let's have a look at that QR code then.
100.
Oh, that's sparkling and new. That will take you to dartshop.tv, where you'll be able to ascertain your tickets to tomorrow night or
60.
any given Saturday night final.
$40.
Get your tickets to the darts by scanning that QR code.
140.
Still motivating himself there, Leonard Gates. A big roar once again of come on. He wants to go back to the top of the table. But Scott
92.
Campbell is
Then
on
you've got
last in the final
141.
game against. And we've talked about the importance of maybe getting it because that group here with Colin Osborne and Kevin Burness. Would you want to avoid that,
57.
Henry, tomorrow?
Gates leaves 84 to take the opening leg of this match.
100. Leonard, you require 84.
Well, he's not putting his foot off the pedal, is he? Leonard, I think he only knows one way of playing, and that is on the front foot.
69 left.
69 points left. And with Gemma on a finish, that's the only way he could have gone for double six.
12 left.
Just imagine if he knew his finishes. Just means the stop start, but I've criticised him many times. But at the same time, I was gonna say he often
78.
pings the double.
Gemma, you require
He was
110.
rocking and rolling all over the place there. Gemma Hayter is going to get a chance. And that chance is a double top. That just crept in.
90.
That would have been for Tub
Leonard,
Plus
you
checkout
require
number
6.
4 of the night. So Gates going down to the trapdoor, double free. What's lurking behind the trapdoor? Well, the trapdoor is so menacing, he decided to split 2 double 2.
Game start the first leg. Leonard Gates.
You can literally hear him shouting, come on. This is a game which effectively is a dead rubber. He's already qualified. But I think that
Second
also
leg is
shows
Gemma to throw
the
first.
competitive
Game
spirit.
on.
We saw 2 players in the previous game, and Scott Campbell, Jamie Lewis, who had qualified, looked so relaxed that it actually brought the
60.
best out of them. And for Leonard Gates, you would think he's just going to go through the motions in this game. But that roar of come on means he wants this win. And with darts like that, who's to argue
180.
against him?
First max of this contest.
85.
Now then, Leonard. Everything's been said and done. Give us a bit of late night magic.
$60. $140.
And she's not giving up. But how disappointing. She was cruising through qualifications. Won her opening 2
100.
games yesterday. And that game with Jamie Lewis will haunt her when she looks back, because this is what she could have done. Dynamic, electrifying,
180.
and another maximum
Leonard,
from
you
Gemma
got
Hayter.
161.
F double 18 after just a dozen darts.
97. Gemma required
2
36.
18s for Gemma Hayter to level this contest up at 1 apiece. Beautiful guide.
Game start on the second leg.
No
Gemma
way
Hayter.
dart 2 was missing.
When we spoke to her, Henry, we didn't really talk about the WDF. I mean, there's some gold events where she's very capable of going to one of them and qualifying for Lakeside. Doesn't sound like that's on her agenda.
Yeah, I get the feeling that side of the sport maybe just isn't quite for Gemma. And also, you've got to remember as well that the landscape's changed this year. The ADC Globals is now at the same time as the WDF Lakeside World Championship, and so players will be forced to make a decision as to what path they plot.
85.
You enjoyed those events at the back end of the year, didn't you, being involved with them?
Yeah, no, it was good fun. I particularly like the Tour Championship. And
60.
I hope that expands and that grows as years go along. I wouldn't mind seeing another event here at the Live Lounge as well. Maybe in the middle of the summer, maybe a match play type event or something like that. Maybe we have 4 direct qualifiers for an ADC Order of Merit and maybe 4 invitational players.
97.
So you have the 4 seeds against the 4 invites, and maybe play that on a Sunday afternoon. Best of 11 quarterfinals, best of 15 semi-finals, and maybe a best of 19 final.
You're listening. Scott Hunt.
Anything for extra work, Glenn.
80. Leonard, you require 152.
Just caught a glimpse of our referee, George Baker, who's doing a mighty fine job.
80 scored. 140. Jeremy got 124.
Triple 18 ball. Bullseye for another ton plus out. That's number 4 of the night.
Gemma Hayter.
And I suppose there's an irony for Gemma Hayter, because she's thinking, why couldn't I have found something clutch like that when I needed it the most?
Game on.
Better late than ever, I suppose. Hayter leads 2-1 with a break. And what this would actually do is it would give Scott Campbell an excellent opportunity to win the group. He'd need just a leg in his final match to guarantee that.
121.
Yeah, just a reminder, second place in this Group
96.
B. We're going to Group A tomorrow night with Kevin Burness and Colin Osborne. Meaning Group B would be Scott Campbell, Jamie Lewis and Peter Wachiuri.
140. $45.
It took him a while to get there for Leonard. I think he had a few issues there with his equipment.
70.
Oh, just a little bit scrappy there, but he has left that finish that Henry Deacon did promise would go this week by Peter Wachiuri. Imagine if he gets that on a Saturday night. I so hope you're right.
The fish. No more. I'm going to give you a prediction, Glenn.
96.
Gemma Hayter hits treble 20 with dart 1. Gemma Hayter hits treble 17 with dart 2. Okay, maybe not.
137. Leonard requires 74.
No wonder you've been labelled the most boring commentator going. Double 16. This for 2-2.
Game shot in the 4th leg. Leonard.
Come on, he says. Trying to G himself up. Just because he's through doesn't mean the intensity's going to wane.
To throw first. Game on.
2 apiece. Best of 3 in this, the 9th game of the session.
140.
Come on then, Henry. No sitting on the fence on this one. Who picks up that trophy tomorrow night?
The player that wins the final.
7.
Honestly, Leonard Gates, all jokes aside, is looking more and more the part, isn't he? Just peaking at the right time. But how many times have we said that this week where a player does that and then the next day do not quite perform? Here's a question for you, Glenn.
I'll answer it, though. I won't sit on the fence.
Well, go on, you answer that question first.
100.
And I'll ask my second question. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll ask this question then. We were talking about specials weeks in the previous leg.
128.
What kind of specials week, what kind of unique specials week would you like to see that we haven't got already?
100.
Pairs, whether it's the World Cup format, whether it's a mixed pairs event, maybe a 301, like a more of a
83.
rapid. You know, I'm a big fan of the snooker event where it's played with against the speed clock. I mean, there's so many things that we could try out here.
140.
The Legends has been great.
91.
Maybe a World Cup theme.
Tell you what I want to see in the next leg.
You're going to see the quadro board, aren't you?
Jamie, 154.
Easy life, Glenn.
$98. Leonard require 46.
For a 3-2 lead. Both players are averaging over 92 at the moment. Double 16. He's been here before.
Game shot the
So
fifth leg.
deadly on
Leonard
his doubles,
Gates.
and once again the roar of approval from Leonard Gates.
91.09 the average. Gates leads
Fifth leg
3-2.
is Gemma to throw first. Game on.
For Gemma, it just hasn't gone to plan tonight, has it?
Yeah, I mean, this could be 6 matches on the spin where she's
41.
lost. I mean, that's the facts from it. It's in such a wonderful position. We were even talking about there might not be a seat left in the house tomorrow because Gemma's a local player, often has a massive following.
43.
It all sort of went wrong, and you do feel for her. She's just genuinely a real inspiration to many, many players, and that's what she can do.
180.
That's what'll infuriate her.
Well, 94.92 the average here.
140.
And she's been showing glimpses of it, but I think perhaps the frustration has been she's shown signs of it. But this is the first time she's done it over an elongated period of a match.
100. 100.
Yeah, the mobility of Leonard's looking better now. He did seem to be just stretching and holding onto his back just a little bit in the previous game. I think he'd be one of the players a nice sleeping in the morning
45.
and go through his preparation. We talked about how late he can often get here. But when he does, he's one of those players who's never off the practice board. He's a heavy practice in the practice room.
62. Jamie require 135.
135 to take us. Oh, that's unlucky. You could see the piercing into the 25 bed. It was good, but it was bouncing out.
It's late. Let's just give her it.
77.
Well, this is for
156.
the match. Great
140.
setup.
Jamie
Hayter
require
has to
58.
take.
To stay in this match, 3-3
James
will
on
go in the
sixth leg,
distance.
Gemma Hayter. Seventh and final leg is Leonard to throw first. Game on.
No shake of the hands.
I think that was more just
140.
both players in a focus more than anything else. It does sometimes happen like that. You just I can imagine you've probably been in that scenario, Glenn, where you're just so focused, you just forget
59.
what is happening around you.
Yeah, great point. Great point.
Sometimes I forget you're here. I'm so focused.
Just that you're so boring, I guess.
97.
And to be fair, Glenn, boring does her would know boring better than anybody else.
I think I did boring as good as anybody.
60.
You're that boring. You're that boring that pot noodles have become fashionable again.
100.
Try not to mention chilied noodles, please. Let's just focus on this last leg decider. And decided that Leonard Gates is doing exactly what he needs to do. Down to a finish after 9 darts. Gemma Hayter way back on 289. The big man is going to pause.
140.
And probably will go into tomorrow night as favourite. He had that favourite tag. I said he was excellent value at 8 to 13.
57.
But it's still very much a big opportunity for Scott Campbell. He's on the last game. But it's Leonard Gates for victory. Is that awkward? Very much so. He's had to move right and the left. Look at that. Is there enough room?
12.
But he'll be able to head down to double 6, a double which you can hit straight down the pipe.
96. Leonard, you require 12.
4-3 win. Double 6. Oh. Don't know what quite happened there. I think he was going with the dart there. Double 3. Inside.
No score.
Well, it's been a bit of a disaster, hasn't it? The last 6 darts for Leonard Gates.
Typical Gates. And never look comfortable. And that big smile on the face of Gemma Hayter tells you everything.
78. Leonard, you require 12.
So, to go top of the table, Leonard Gates with one more match to come. He's through to Saturday night. He's a big favourite with many people as Leonard Gates, and it's a job well done for Gemma Hayter. It just all went pear-shaped in a game that she'll probably look back on and reflect. Chatting all around there. They'll have a chat about the game backstage there. Good numbers throughout. Both players are averaging over 90 going into that one. Another 100+ finish for Gemma Hayter. Hopefully we see her back soon on the stage. But it's Gates we will see tomorrow night. Final game of Group B up next. It's Barry Copeland against Scott Campbell.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, Leonard Gates rounded off his campaign with a 4-3 win over Gemma Hayter. And now it is time for the two first names of these two players spell out a very famous advert character, Derby, as Barry takes on Scott. And it might be a case of bang and the darts is gone, Glenn Durrant.
Sell it, bang.
Well, for Scott Campbell,
First leg
he has
is
the
Barry
opportunity
throw
to
first.
top this Group B
Game
at
on.
the end of proceedings. Any win here, and he will get that particular job done. But Barry Copeland's won 2 of his 3 games so far today. He has been a different man compared to night 1.
Yes, my mind sort of goes back to
100.
this opening game in Group B where really this man coming to the hockey now, Scott Campbell, really come to the fore. For the first 3 legs, he was absolute dynamite and has a possibility of topping this group if he can get over the line against the much, much improved Barry Copeland.
100. $100.
So your overall assessment of the week then, Henry. You've been here from the very first dart. And the last dart will be round about 11 o'clock tomorrow night.
Yeah, we'll be on air until 11:30. No earlier.
Who do you think will be most disappointed?
140.
Not qualifying. Noah Lynn van Leuven.
Yeah, agree.
She would have had realistic expectations of winning the week. Definitely qualifying for Saturday. I think Barry will have a twinge of disappointment
60.
as well because
Barry
I think he's a player that would
161.
expect to qualify for Saturday when he's here.
Just had a dreadful opening night, didn't he? And there was a moment today when he won his opening game and we felt if he'd have got to 8 points, it could have been enough.
65.
Probably would have been enough. There was that incredible fight between Gemma Hayter and Jamie Lewis.
Well, let's hope that most importantly, Barry keeps hold of his food after the session is done.
76. Barry acquired 96. $56. Scott, you acquire 125.
He'll start centre of the board. Once again, that kick of the hockey to start. That's absolutely plumb. I think he'll stay there. Typical.
It's always the way.
109. Barry acquired
If only that was a
40.
150 attempt. Copeland tops. Now double 10.
$20.
Chances missed.
Scott, you acquire
Opportunities
16.
squandered. Campbell looks at double 8. And now double 4.
Games on the
Pins
first
it
leg.
last
Scott
start in hand
Campbell.
to get the break. Campbell a leg up.
I mean, you've seen Scott Campbell play before, but you
Second
must
leg,
be
it's Scott
impressed
to
the way he's
throw
been in this
first.
Group B.
Game on.
He's just been solid, hasn't he? I said the word granite earlier. Hasn't... Well, I'd say obviously he had that performance, didn't he, against Gemma Hayter, where he was absolutely exceptional. But last night,
121.
he was just solid all night long. It weren't too high, it weren't too low. It was just efficiently good.
$60.
And Scott is a player that when he's here, will expect to be through to a Saturday. He's got that quality. He's got that panache about his game.
Yeah, he used the word granite. And I talked yesterday about he's
83.
had many mixed pairs wins with Dieter Hedman and the Granite City Open. That was, I only went there once. What a tough competition up in Aberdeen. Some of the real greats have won that competition.
100.
Is there any Opens you'd like to go to? Is there anything in darts, venues-wise? Whether it's the Dutch Open or Madison Square Garden or something. Is this something that you're going to do?
Dutch Open. Oh, I'd love to do it.
83.
One day. I wouldn't play in it. I'd never play in it. Well, that's the only tournament I wouldn't have to chore because winner marks. But I'd love to just go sample it. As a darts nerd, and I am a nerd about this game,
100.
I'd love just to sample it just the once.
It is magnificent, and I must admit it even gets better when it comes to the finals because there's about 7,000 people in there. It's probably as close that you're going to get to a WDF sort of feeling of a Premier League. But it is a mega and so incredibly well run. 5,000 people there, yeah, it's just ran to perfection.
I've still never been to the Circus Tavern yet, and that I was meant to go the other week, but extenuating circumstances meant I couldn't go to the seniors. But I'd love to visit there one day.
Yeah, I don't think I got the real flavour. I was period in the seniors where I'm not playing my best, so the memories are not great. Lakeside for me was just special, just like this 160 would be special. He's been granite.
140.
Yeah, the Lakesides are very, very special. I'll tell you what, well, there's a lovely little bit of respect between the pair. I'll tell you what, Glenn, I'm going to tell you a story I've never told you before. The first time I ever went to Lakeside was to watch you beat Mark McGeaney in 2018.
$85. Scott, you require 20.
Double 10 for Campbell, as Glenn is reeling from another boring statement from Deacon. Just a little look at the score of Barry Copeland there.
10.
Was he going to even think of potentially splitting that if the fact that Barry was on 96? He went straight for it there. So for Copeland to get back in this game would be a breaker throw. Very traditional as Barry. Or is he going to go the double-double route? He attempted it.
56.
Chance for Campbell
Scott,
for 2-0.
10.
Looking at double 5 to double his lead.
Game shot in the second leg.
Well,
Scott Campbell.
perfectly pinned. Campbell 2-0 up.
The leg is Barry to throw first. Game on.
Well, if we're going to have supporters tomorrow night for the players, they're going to come from afar. I mean, Aberdeen for starters for Scott Campbell.
100.
Leonard Gates. Well, there'll be many Texans coming.
$100.
You can reply if you want to, Henry. I mean, no choice.
Well, I've decided to have a look at my old friend ChatGPT again.
100.
And I'm just trying to see how far it is from Nairobi to Portsmouth. Well, I think it might take a while because there's apparently 4,221 miles between Nairobi, Kenya and Portsmouth, United Kingdom.
Are you liking this bit of AI I've sort of introduced you to today?
Well, I would, except for the fact that I Googled myself on ChatGPT and apparently Henry Deacon doesn't exist.
That doesn't surprise me that you Googled yourself.
Although, if you put my name next to the Modus Super Series, they write some really nice things about me. I'm a prominent figure in the darts community.
60.
I actively participate. I provide insightful commentary. And I contribute to the overall excitement of the matches.
Is there any chance of some insightful commentary on this game, please?
Well, Scott Campbell here is averaging 79.70. He's leading by 2 legs to 0 against Barry Copeland. 2 from 8 on the doubles. But Barry Copeland here, on throw, is looking to get a leg back. But he's going to have to find a break at some point in this contest.
45.
Your
Barry
turn.
require 120.
At least 6 darts from the 120. Perfectly pitched first. Beautiful second. Tops to get back in this game.
80.
He will be back.
Yeah, he's going to come back for... This is being playing a nice bit. I think these two have become good pals. Well, they know each other from the international circuit, Barry and Scott, and they are rekindling and continuing their glowing bromance on the stage.
57. Barry acquire 40.
Yeah, it's a good shout, actually. They'll play at each other in the internationals.
Game shot in the third leg. Barry Copeland.
Reduces the deficit. That's very much advantage Scott Campbell. Like I say, the motivation should be there for Scott Campbell, because victory for the Scot means he goes top of the table, bragging rights tomorrow night. And for me, personally, a better group to be in. So it's smiles all around with Scott, but my advice is for, he needs to just dig in and get the job done. Agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. Nothing that you said I don't agree with.
100.
We'll have a break from the Super Series action next week for Double Trouble 3.
60.
Which will begin on Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. And then from that point onwards, we will finish off the series. Week 7 to 13 will be
100.
back to back to back. And then we will crown our Series 10 champion on Saturday, the 26th of April, 2025.
Do you think we've seen the winner already?
No. No.
What a season it could be for Shane McGurk, world champion in December 2024. To get a Modus Super Series under his belt. And another 30 grand to boot. Yeah, I commentated when Alex Small won. I was delighted for him. It was a bit of a surprise, but great to see he's using that money and that winnings as well, because it was great to see him at the Scottish Open where he had a good run. That's what it can do. It can just open doors. It can give you the belief to maybe just take a direction, whether it's going to be the development tour, the challenge tour, the WDF system.
Well, it just set the pattern, didn't it, for the series as a whole? Because then Jensen Walker surprised Simon Whitlock. Then Sam Spivey, a.k.a. Spivey Man, won in week 3. 116 for Copeland. Isn't going to go. Looking forward to seeing Spivey Man at Champions Week.
46. Scott, you acquire 96.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing Scott Campbell tomorrow night. And these types of finishes have been meat and drink for him. This for a 3-1 lead. Decisions to make now, because that's awkward. Made sense to go down to the 19th, but finally just showing a little bit of aggression there. That
70.
I like. Because he doesn't really want to throw this game away. It has been like an old pals act of the fist pumps and the smiles around. But if this double 4 goes, we have a level game, 2-2.
Barry Copeland.
Level, you devils.
5th leg is Barry to throw first. Game on.
Any football tomorrow? Are you at Portsmouth at home?
60.
No, we've got a big game though in the Championship away to Luton Town at Kenilworth Road. I think a win there. I think we'll probably be as good as safe. FA Cup weekend, of course, isn't it? 5th round weekend in the FA Cup. First tie took place tonight, wasn't it? Aston Villa against Cardiff. Don't actually know how that game went, but I know it was on the telly.
Why don't you ask ChatGPT?
Well, I've got a better app which I work for. Aston Villa beat Cardiff by 2-0.
140.
Then today, in the FA Cup, Crystal Palace, Millwall and Preston against Burnley, the early kickoffs. Bournemouth take on Wolves in the early 3 p.m. game. And then Manchester City at the Etihad up against Plymouth Argyle.
180.
That is beautiful.
90.
Just as Barry Copeland was beginning to take control of this match. A match that I think has significance. For Scott Campbell, his reply might be, I don't care what section I'm in the draw tomorrow night, I'm there.
92.
Nothing to separate between the pair of them. Can he back that 180? Is that the answer he needs with the first dart? Splendid second. Stunner of a third.
121.
Well, this is a much better leg. It's been a bit of a slugfest, this contest, if the truth be told. Campbell's left a ton after just 9 darts to open up a 3-2 lead in this match.
83. Scott, you require 100. $60. Barry, you require 126.
All about the 19s. Needs the treble. Gets the treble.
101.
Fine margins. Campbell will be back on tops.
Scott, you require 40.
And this could be match point because Scott Campbell would have the darts in the next leg. Can he hit the tops?
Game shot in the 5th leg. Scott Campbell.
Well, that's the break. You say that he needed that tops, but the double 10 has put him on top in this game. And if he wins this match, he will be top of the group. He will be the main man.
$100.
Any win for Scott Campbell, and he will top the group. That'll give him the thumbs up ahead of Saturday night's final.
60.
Yeah, I think the only thing that Barry Copeland's really learnt these past 2 days is that first one. You can't lose it on day one, but the damage was done. It was an awful lot to ask to go through the card tonight. For many people, it might have been that player who was the good value. But now people will be looking at Scott Campbell as a real potential winner tomorrow night. He's on the home stretch in this game. That breaker throw in the previous leg against
100.
40 points ahead plus these. One massive score here.
$60.
Very much a nip and tuck game, this one.
100.
You can see by the scoreline there, both on 2-4-1. Legs difference, of course, is the most important.
$140.
That's a cracker.
Well, this could be the game now for Scott Campbell. 101 to win the match.
81.
Barry Copeland just looks like he's ran out of steam here, hasn't he? And so Campbell, 101 to get the job done and to win the group. Not to be, and so Copeland will return for the 160 to ensure that this game goes the distance.
Will it be the last 3 darts of Barry Copeland? The likelihood is yes, because Scott Campbell has been marvellous, and this is to finish this group campaign top of the table.
Double 16. Scott Campbell wins.
Scott Campbell.
He beats Barry Copeland by 4 legs to 2 and a lovely embrace to finish off their campaign and to finish off the night's darts. Right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, studio analysis to come.
marsh.
Time bases through.
So this is what we've seen on this Friday night at the Super Series. Before the break, Scott Campbell beat Barry Copeland by 4-2. That ensures that the Scot tops the group table from Leonard Gates in second position. Let's confirm then the league standings. Scott Campbell, Leonard Gates both ending on 12 points respectively. Jamie Lewis, the other player to make it through on 8. Gemma Hayter didn't win again tonight. Barry Copeland had better fortunes, but the damage was done yesterday. Right, Glenn Durrant is with me here in the studio, and we have to begin by talking about Scott Campbell. He won the group, 12 points to his name, and probably was the best player in the group.
Yeah, he really impressed me, actually. I've really enjoyed seeing Scott play, and now becomes a strong contender tomorrow night, that's for sure. Big scorer, and under pressure, I mean, that goes bang right in the middle. That's a beautiful dart. And even a little bit of leaving the arm out there, which is a huge sign of confidence. Yeah, very, very impressed with Scott Campbell. He's a Scottish captain for a reason.
What about Leonard Gates? He looked like tonight maybe he was moving more into the groove of a player that could win tomorrow night.
Oh, you can absolutely. He's fascinating to watch. He's got the X factor. He's just a little bit different to other people. He's all about rhythm. Like I said, he's rocking and rolling, the finishing, etc. But a heavy, heavy favourite. I think he's got a real serious chance tomorrow night.
Jamie Lewis. Now, slow start both nights. Now, obviously, he won't be able to be afforded that tomorrow, but when he got going towards the end this evening, there was some really good stuff from him.
I'm delighted for him. I can resonate with the situation that he's been in. He's very competitive now. His finishing tonight was sublime. And that I look forward to sort of crunching the numbers as we prepare for tomorrow night. And you don't often see a reaction like that from Jamie Lewis. That's nice to see. That's a player who's been at the very high and also been in the doldrums as well. He's back on. He's got the passion and love for the game as well. I'm delighted for him.
Let's have a look at the tournament bracket then as we go into tomorrow night's final. Colin Osborne won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. Scott Campbell, Leonard Gates and Jamie Lewis, as we saw this evening, getting through Group B, was Peter Wachiuri. Well, he's been the story of the week. He won Group C earlier on this afternoon. Kevin Burness, the runner-up there. And so this is what it means in terms of tomorrow night's groups. Colin Osborne, Leonard Gates and Kevin Burness in Group 1. Scott Campbell, Peter Wachiuri and Jamie Lewis in Group 2. Right, we'll go group by group. Group 1, Colin, Leonard, Kevin, opportunity there, and everybody will know each other very well.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about opportunity. I see that one as the really tough group. I think more opportunity in Group 2. That's a pretty brutal group. And sometimes you win Group A, like Colin Osborne did. You go away for a couple of days, I think, when he looks at that group there. Because Gates is unpredictable. We saw the brilliance from Burness. Osborne was searching for that really big performance there. That's a tough one to pick 2 from 3 there, Henry.
If Peter Wachiuri won tomorrow night, how big a story would it be?
Look, I want him to win it. I think the neutral will want him to win it. What the impact that can have for Modus Super Series, for Peter as an individual. We've talked an awful lot about the impact in Kenya and African. We've seen the videos. Dare we dream of Peter Wachiuri winning it? Has he got the game to win it? Let's just enjoy the moment with him. Let's not put too much pressure on him. I think he's succeeded in whatever he's done, but if he wins it, wow.
Glenn, before we go, have you been having a word with our makeup department? Because you and Paul Nicholson are in conversation for our next programme on Pluto TV. What on earth is that?
Dear me. That's a shot. I'm the one on the right there, by the way.
That's right. The best you've looked.
I thought Baby Boy was my low moment. I think, wowzers.
Right, Glenn and Nico are having a trip down memory lane, and that's going to be our next programme here on Pluto TV. Glenn, thank you for your company today,
thank
and
you.
we shall see you tomorrow night. We shall see you tomorrow night as well to see how week 6 concludes here at the Modus Super Series. Well, Leonard was absolutely brilliant. Scott Campbell was sublime. But Jamie Lewis may just have the fire back in the belly. We shall see you tomorrow night for what could be a historic evening of Super Series darts. 7:30 will be with you. But until then, thank you for watching. Bye for now.
What a finish! What a man! The drum roll finishes, and the target is
Finals night, and it's a knockout.
Andreas Dirty Hayter!